properly apologize for that little snafu, my friends. With your first movie, Gamera vs. Virus. Your first Gamera movie in some time. And, as I understand it, not your last. Enjoy it. It's a weirdie.
In the not too distant future, somewhere in cyberspace, our crew on the satellite of love is caught in a scary place. Way down below, a crimson weirdo lurks, an evil creep who wants to prove his worth. To get to the top, he has a hill to climb. He'll have to finish the experiment his mentor left behind. I'll send him cheesy movies, the worst that I can find. He'll have to sit and watch them all, and I'll monitor his mind. Now keep in mind, Helmet can't control where the movies begin or end. He'll try to keep his sanity with the help of his robot friends.
Launch the birdie.
I'm not in there.
I'm you. Oh, fight me.
If you're wondering when this all takes place and other timeline facts, then repeat to yourself, it's just a show. I should really just relax. For Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Hello, people of the internet. I am Andres Perez, aka Kaiju Noir, and welcome to another fabulous edition of Audio Synchronicity, the Mystery Science Theater 3000 edition. So with me here on tonight's episode, I got myself the entire crew of Brayton Connor's fan series of Mystery Science Theater 3000, aka MST3K vs. Gamera, Round 2. Here with me, of course, is the mastermind behind all of this, as well as my co-host for our quote-unquote monthly live stream series. It's none other than Brayton Connor of Brands and Films.
Hey, howdy, hey, everybody. Good Saturday evening. Yes, the monthly podcast, which is sometimes monthly when it's convenient, monthly. Yes.
Exactly. Apologies for not having a live stream for the month of February. Things were just a little busy, and during those times, it was just like more convenient for us to just take a break from that. Especially when the certain days can get very busy for some of us, and for me, I have to wake up like very early, while for you guys it's late at night over in America, or the majority of the Western world. I'm assuming most of you guys are from America, given my analytics. And with us is the voice of Crow. It is our very own Andrew Battaglia.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
And finally, it is the Crimson Weirdo himself, the mad scientist of our MST3K crew. Give it up for Anshoma.
You lucky dickweeds, you.
Apologies right now if you're hearing some loud gush of wind right now. I have no idea what's going on with this weather right now in Japan. It's like spring, we're like transitioning over into the warmer weather, but that cold winter weather is not giving up without a fight, so it's like, I'm sure if you guys can hear that right now over on the Skype chat.
Oh, I just hear a cold gust of wind going through my head constantly because there's nothing in between my ears.
I literally have a fan up against my face, so I don't know what you're talking about.
All right.
No, I hear it. It sounds like the last resorts of winter, trying desperately to stay relevant, but it knows its time is done.
And though ironically enough, it's like we didn't really get any snow, like barely any snow in Gifu this year. It was just like one time in December while I was away, but then it's like almost practically nothing for the rest of like January, February, and March.
Yeah, not even in New York. Yeah, even in New York too. It's the snow hasn't been that bad over here.
Really?
Well, winter itself actually hasn't been that bad. As we barely got any days where it was like really freezing.
And I guess usually it's like snow is usually like a definite thing, isn't it? Over in New York.
Yeah. Usually it snows a lot here in New York, and sometimes it can get really cold over here. But this year, no, it was perfectly fine, honestly.
I see.
You
Okay.
lucky son of a bitches, rubbing it in. I see how it
What are you talking about? Here in Los Angeles, we had one micro inch of moisture in the air. There was so much death and panicking going on.
Water! Someone give me some water!
Well, I suppose
Yeah.
it's much more convenient than having your entire neighborhood set on fire.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, here's the funny thing. Here in Los Angeles, we either have forest fires, or we have the slight chance of rain. And trust me, I can handle rain, but people living in Los Angeles go crazy when there's rain. A couple of weeks ago, quick story, I went to the Vons across the street from where I live,
Yeah.
just to pick up some late night snacks, as
I was
always.
there.
Yes. And yeah. And it was just a little moisty outside, a little foggy, nothing happened. But it's like I had like 5 separate people in the store come up to me like I was some prophet from a Bible going like, is it raining outside? Is it raining? No, it's just a light
See,
fog.
that's what happens when you go to Vons in your fucking robes. They think you're Moses all of a sudden.
Hey, I was dressed with the hat of the golden calf. I look completely normal, okay?
You are the
Am I-
chosen one.
Damn right.
Whatever your definition of normal is, Raph.
I had my Santa beard. I had my Spartacus armor. I was my own original Bible character. Do not steal.
I hate it. I hate it when people start making their own fan fiction to accompany the Bible.
Yeah, Ramoskitis. That was my name.
Hashtag donut steal.
Right.
So let's see. Anyways, it looks like we have a lot of people who are coming in, and some of them have actually seen our MST3K fan episode in which we riffed on Gamera versus Virus. I put a link down in the description below for you guys, all of you, to check out the fan episode itself. And so, one of the individuals asked us if what were the other 2 films that weren't covered on MST3K. That would be Gamera vs. Jiger and Gamera Super Monster, or Gamera or Super Monster Gamera, or Space Monster Gamera, or Gamera the Space Monster.
Or Shit Show the Motion Picture, as I like to call it.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, for anyone who thinks Godzilla's Revenge is the worst kaiju movie, they can go set themselves on fire and jump off a cliff for all I care.
So
I'm not joking. I'm serious.
While we are getting in, we're introducing this. For those who may not know, Brain Connor, he pretty much like put this whole thing together, and asked all of us if we were interested in being a part of this project. And I would like to give the spotlight to Brayden, and I would like him to, just briefly go over, elaborate on like how this project came to be.
It all started with an empty bottle of tequila and me crying lonely in the bathtub. That's how all the greatest creative endeavors begin.
All the best stories start.
Yeah.
And your dad approaches you in the bathroom and says, "You gonna cry, Bill? You gonna cry, huh? You gonna cry?"
Yeah. I miss my robots, as I sit there lamenting.
Meanwhile, they're right next to you on the couch. Is like, we're right here, dude.
I meant the real ones, you liars!
The ones that talk.
You don't talk, you just sit there and stare at me, judging.
You don't have you require a hand up your ass.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brayden
Wait, are you talking about me or the robots, Andres?
Oh. Well, I thought this was going to be a classy affair.
Who's the real dummy here in this case?
Okay. So, just to give a little history on the humble beginnings of this thing, I had loved the show for quite a long time. I discovered it when I was in middle school, and just became a real big fanatic and addict for anything and everything the show. And of course, like all of us here, I'm a huge kaiju tokusatsu fan.
You are?
And I know it's rare. It's hard to believe, but it's true.
Strange.
And yeah, the Gamera films are, some of my favorite episodes of the show, and I always thought it kind of unfortunate that they left uncovered ground there with some of the Showa movies, because the only ones they did on the show were the ones distributed through Sandy Frank.
Mm-hmm.
who only had the rights for the 4 that they did, or if it was at 4 or 5 they did
5,
that
I
they
think
did.
it was Gamera,
5?
Baragon,
Yeah.
Gauss, Giron, and Zigra.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the movies.
Yeah, so they only did the ones that came in the Sandy Frank package. Yeah, there was a lot of material, I think, to go over still with Virus, Super Monster, and Jiger. And so I had the robots already built just for my own amusement, I guess. And they were nice to have as collector pieces, but all they really did was kind of just sit there, and I kind of...
Oh, they don't function very well?
That was the disappointing thing, Andres. I was sitting there and I was looking at them and they were looking at me and I was like, say something, and they wouldn't say something.
Oh, damn it!
They're very disappointing pieces of plastic.
Be real, damn it! Be real, or Tom, I'll knock you over like Patrick did at G-Fest.
That's true. Patrick hates. Let it be known for the record. Patrick hates puppets. I want that hashtag.
No wonder you guys keep telling me not to bring the narwhal to G-Fest.
No, it's not that he hates puppets. He's just not a fan of big dummies.
Hey, that had a double meaning towards me. I don't like the way you whistle your literary references there, pal.
Oh God.
Keep going.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, I had an interest in doing some film stuff and writing, so I thought it'd be. And I'd seen some other people do it online, and I was like, hey, maybe this might be a fun little thing to do, and you get to learn a little bit about like production and making a show in the process and editing and that sort of thing. And so yeah, I had written a very crappy script like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And had originally approached Andres and Adam, former friend of ours, to play the parts of the robots.
Yes.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yeah, that kind of fell. I know we did some like test like recording stuff back then.
Yeah.
And we did like a read through of the original script, but yeah, that the things personal relationships sort of got in the way and things fell through between that circle, and sorry Andres, that happened to you.
They all exploded in deep space.
Pretty much. Yeah, we evolved into our non-corporeal forms.
Right,
that's right. And then we got picked up by the Sci-Fi Channel, luckily, and then canceled 3 years after that. So
to make way for Shark Hunter of all movies. God damn it.
Yeah. But yeah, that was the first time it went on hold, and then I think like a year after that, I came to Andrew about the project, and he said you were on board with it, Andrew, and we watched Virus through, getting a bunch of like notes for riffing done. And then my senior year of high school and my freshman year of college happened, and that caused me to procrastinate even more on the project, and my priorities were shifted in a very different direction. But finally, it was meeting Raph, oddly enough, that really put the spark in doing this again when I saw his Crimson Weirdo video, your original posting of your little, whatever that was, Raph.
Yeah,
when you were like, that's it, Father, I shall become a weirdo.
This is a perfect character.
Yeah, I got a knock
in love with...
Yeah, I got a knock at the door the next day, and there was Brayton in his own little Crimson Weirdo dollar store onesie. Like, can I join you in your evil cult? And it's like, no!
I'm in Critter Weirdo. I built these rocket boots.
Go home, Brayton!
No. He's the Crimson Boyo.
Crimson Boyo. Crimson Boyo.
And then we fought a mime, and Brayton went crazy. Tried to kill my aunt.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was inevitable. Sorry that had to happen to you, Raph.
That's okay. I have that effect on everybody.
Yeah. So that's
Raph and I started talking more and more on Skype, and I divulged this information to you that I had tried to do this before. And then it kind of just developed after that into doing it again. And we had a full script written in no time, well, in some time. And then I went back to Andres and Andrew about it, and they were still on board, luckily. and we all got together and recorded stuff. And then I built a set in my garage, and then I filmed stuff, and Raph filmed stuff, and things were edited, and it became a thing. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. Yeah, it's definitely a first episode. It was definitely a learning process going along, being new to all of this. So I have faith that the second and third episodes are only going to serve to get better. But the response to it in just like the short time that it's been posted on YouTube just today has been really positive. There's been tons of really great comments, and people have shared it on different fan websites, and on Reddit I saw someone made a cool post about it.
Oh, nice.
So it's it's been really cool.
It kind of goes to show just like how genuinely nice the MST3K fan base really is. It's probably one of the most nicest fan bases I've ever come across.
Yeah, well, it's a small fan base, but it's a really welcoming and encouraging group of people.
Yeah, and that's like the exact opposite of what you would normally see in like in terms of like internet fan bases, where everyone just it goes out of their way to insult you and make you feel bad just so they can feel good about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of that across a lot of fan bases. There's a lot of like infighting and like weird superiority complexes, and I don't know. They're just not a really great thing to get into generally. But yeah, everything I've read has been really encouraging, and like people can't wait to see the next two, and it's overwhelming if anything. People have really enjoyed your guys' performances as the robots, and Raph as whatever he is, the Crimson Weirdo.
That's okay. That's what my family says about me every day. What is that? Doing the dishes over there in the corner.
Has your family seen the episode yet, Raph? Have you shown them any bits of it?
We might actually gather all together tomorrow night and watch it in the living room together.
Oh, that'll be fun. I did that with my family. What was it? Not last night, but 2 nights ago. I watched it with my family and my nephews, and one of my nephews, who's 5, was scared of the Crimson Weirdo. I just want you to know that.
They lost their shit at the part where he's like,
yeah.
Okay. All right. Of all the characters I've created, many of them have yet to be introduced. I've created far more disturbing and horrible characters than Crimson Weirdo. Yet the Crimson Weirdo was enough to terrify this small child.
Yeah, you're spooky. Look at you. Look at the title card. You're a spooky man.
Yeah. Don't show him the Waffle Man episode, or his brain's gonna explode when Jack Hodgson shows up.
Well, yeah, you're just all dark and mysterious and big and blue and scary. You did a great job.
Well, instead of hiring one of those professional scary clowns to his birthday, hire me.
Yeah, you're available.
Hello, kitties, it's I, the Crimson Weirdo. I bought you all peanuts, and it's filled with snakes.
Okay, I'm done with the bits.
Yeah, thank you. That was annoying. That was annoying even by my standards, Andres.
Raph, I'm gonna remember that for my younger cousin's birthday.
I mean, weird, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Raph, I'm gonna remember those services for my cousin's birthday. You're gonna come into his party.
Okay, I prefer to be paid in hookers and blow. So.
I can't give you the hookers, but I can't promise you the blow.
Nah, it's just gonna be flour in a cup.
That's how I got you to agree. That's how I got you to agree to be in this, Raph. Is I promised you hookers and blow, and then I backed out at the last minute, but it was too late because you had filmed everything.
The only reason I'm going to G-Fest is to knife you, my friend.
Oh yay!
I did want to read out D-Man's comment where he mentioned, I can't stick around and I haven't finished, but I fucking love what I've seen. It's awesome, and I'll definitely be covering it on my channel. And he said,
thanks so much, man.
He also said he's really happy with how the whole thing turned out. And thank you very, very much for the kind words, D-Man. We appreciate the support, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. D-Man was partly responsible for me being introduced to you, Raph. So I have him to thank for talking to you more, and I have him to thank for somehow finding the Crimson Weirdo and getting this project up again and rolling. So
You poor man, you.
What have you done, D-Man?
Yeah. Burn him as rich.
He's the real villain here, D-Man. So he's hiding in the
Imagine
background.
we get him on the web series. He's like the son of Forrester. He's the true mastermind behind all of this.
The son of Forrester. I like that.
Right. Yeah. So he's dressed up as King now? Forrester?
D-Man could pull that off. He could pull that off.
Okay, all right.
Range issues right now. Okay. OBS Studio, Rick connection successful. Matt Lacha says, "Is me or is there an issue with the feed?" Let's see. You can still hear. You can still hear me, right, guys?
Yes.
I'm talking to you.
I can hear you.
Okay. And can everybody in the audience? Can you hear us? D-Man mentioned it was he has having a lagging problem too. X-Term Central said there was a bit of delay. Just gonna mention. Yeah, Cody says, okay, D-Man says we can hear you now. Okay, we're good now. Sorry about that. It's probably that it's probably that weird gusts of wind that's kind of like messing up with the internet connection. But D-Man says OBS crashes all the time. It is very annoying. Thank you very much, D-Man. All right. And he right before the internet problems, he said, I don't want to be a sexy villain.
Oh, too bad you're dealing with it.
Yeah.
You want to get into Hollywood, you got to do the things you don't like to do.
Hey, you got to deal with this on a daily basis.
Just ask Marilyn Monroe.
Now put on this dress. This is going to put you over the top, D-Man. We don't have a script. We have a poster. Now stand here and...
No, we'll just,
this is how Charles Bronson started in the business. Now
that's
get
how all the
that
badass.
Yeah.
No,
just ask Dwayne The Rock Johnson. He was in a tutu, and now he's a big movie star.
Are you talking about that episode from Star Trek?
I'm talking about the Tooth Fairy episode you ate.
Oh, right. Okay. So.
Oh my God, that's true. He was in the Tooth Fairy.
Yes.
Do you know that there was a sequel to that with Larry the Cable Guy?
Oh.
Okay, okay, I'm gonna quote. Jacob B.
It seems. Wasn't he in like the Jingle All the Way sequel?
No. I think that was Dolph Lundgren in Jingle All the Way 2.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh well, that's different.
Okay, Andres, I'm gonna quote Jacob Baker, the Kaiju Maker here. My brain is currently walking out of my head and staring at the mic, saying, "Really? That's terrible."
Oh, by the way, X-Term Central says, is Raph still up for doing a Nessie commission for my G-Fest panel?
I am. Just please email me directly. I handle messages better that way. Or I'll email you directly now that you reminded me.
In other words, it's like, don't talk
Shut
to me on
up.
Facebook.
Don't do it. Don't you ever talk to me on Facebook. Nobody.
Nobody talks to me on Facebook. I reject everybody before they can reject me.
Yeah. Although, to be honest, Facebook has a really shitty message system. So unless you're a direct friend of mine, it's impossible to get any messages.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andrew.
To be fair, though, it's at least better than Twitter.
Oh, and
Twitter can burn in a pit, can set itself on fire and jump off a cliff.
And Cody Bratch says, I'm ashamed to say I've seen both Tooth Fairy movies. No, Dolph was in Kindergarten Cop 2. Larry was in fact in Jingle All the Way 2.
There you go.
Oh,
okay.
It's like Larry, the cheapest big name actor you can get for your shit direct to video sequels.
Mm-hmm.
I guess so. You know what? We could have a Larry the Cable Guy play the Crimson Weirdo in our second episode, Raph. If you're not,
Brayton, you can set yourself on fire and jump off a cliff. Okay.
We're gonna do to the Crimson Weirdo what Marvel did to the creator of Ghost Rider. We're gonna take your character and we're gonna bastardize it, and you're gonna have none of the credits.
Andres, you can set yourself on fire and jump off a cliff. Okay.
In what order?
Well, you gotta set yourself on fire and then jump off the cliff, dum dum.
Oh, is that how it's supposed to work? I keep fucking it up.
At this point, you're like Two-Face. It's like, thanks for the jagged coins, everybody. What am I going to do with this? Try again.
No curtain number 1 or number 2, just plain curtains.
Right.
And D-Man said, gotta go, fellas. Much love. Thanks again. Thanks for stopping by, D-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, D-Man. Have a great night.
And let's see. So, I did want to ask you the question, Brayden, of throughout the whole process, what do you think was like the most difficult part of bringing this whole thing together?
I don't know. I'm just really grateful that it all came together in the end. Like there were different stages of difficulty. It really gave me appreciation of what people who make actual movies and stuff do, and just on a production level, because the writing had some challenges because with writing a riff script, like writing a funny commentary, it's a really difficult process when you try to do the math of it. Because it seems simple on the surface, watch movie, make jokes. But you kind of run into the problem that the original show did in the very beginning, where, you watch movies, you make jokes, but there's a lot of spaces there, too, where, there's nobody's saying anything. There's a lot of holes you have to fill there. That was, like, the biggest difficulty with the writing. Then with the actual production of it, the filming of it, I was a one-man crew for surprisingly a lot of it. Like everything in the episode where Helmet isn't directly interacting with one of the robots was just me with a split screen for a lot of it. So if you see in the most of the opening segment and the end segment where we each talk about our monsters, that was me. That was me being a one-man crew, just filming each portion one at a time, and then doing a split screen effect with it, so it looks like we're all in the same space. That was the most difficult thing filming the episode, and then just editing is editing's a pain in the ass, and it takes forever, and it's the longest part of the whole process. So there was a lot of sleepless nights watching Gamera vs. Virus over and over over again.
You said you watched
so
this
many
15 times?
Yeah, it's upward at least 15 times I've seen this thing through, beginning to end. And I never want to see it again. It's not that great of a movie. It doesn't deserve to be seen 15 times. Twice is probably too many. So yeah, that was a difficult. If I never see another frame of this film again, I'll die happy. But yeah, those were the difficult.
I'm gonna go out of my way to get yourself a physical film reel of Gamera vs. Virus and mail it to you.
Oh well, thank you so much, you jerk. That would be just so delightful.
Make sure it's a special edition from Shout Factory.
Oh yes. I need to see it.
Make them suffer in high quality.
Oh,
Yeah.
By the way, D-Man asked before he could quickly before I go, will there be a BTS or special features? I'm assuming BTS is behind the scenes. I'd love to see more from the show.
Yeah, we talked about doing. We won't have time to do it because April Fool's is tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah.
But maybe for next April Fool's, once all 3 episodes are out, we'll have a fake sort of Shout Factory bonus documentary where we all talk about it in character.
Right. You're gonna be filming Tom Servo talking to the camera. It's first I wasn't sure about my having a voice change, but considering the low pay.
Yeah. Kevin Murphy wasn't on our payroll, so I guess I can adjust. I can roll with the times.
Or you know what's funny? We do a commentary where we riff on the riff.
Oh my god, that would be funny. That'd be interesting.
Reception.
Yeah, that'd be a jumbled mess, and I love it.
Reception.
Cue the X-Files themes.
Have the Crimson Weirdo be just a horrible, pretentious actor type who's just takes his craft far too seriously.
I'm willing to get back into smoking for that interview too. Listen, you little suckers, okay? The Crimson Weirdo is based on my experiences from the Korean War. You don't remember the Korean War because it's one of the least popular Korean wars. But trust me, I was there in the poop. You weren't, so shut up. What's your next question, kid?
And Primal Graffenixaurus Rex says, can I riff on your commentary? So it's a fan riff on the riff on the fan riff?
Knock yourself out?
As many idiots we can get into a room talking over other idiots talking.
Talking over other idiots on talking in a room.
Let's just bring in all our friends who had nothing to do with the episode directly, like Win and Patrick. That'd be hilarious.
Just talking absently in the background.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna be having like an MST3K, like a B team commenting on the A team.
Just put a really long row of theater seats at the bottom, and just put like.
At that point, it's not just one single row; it's the entire goddamn theater you got to render.
Right.
Oh yeah! Oh my god! Yeah, like the movie's just really tiny in the distance.
It's like you're actually there inside a movie theater.
Yeah.
It's immersive.
Yeah, we'll need to tint the movie itself extra blue just so it will stand out from the rest of the theater.
We'll turn into a VR experience for the Oculus Rift.
No.
Oh,
now I'm on board for this project.
Virtual reality 360 experience. That would be great.
You see, everywhere you're gonna turn your head and you're gonna listen to a new riffing from people around you. Yeah, we're kind of geniuses, guys. We need to monetize this somehow. Oh, and by the way, do you happen to know an individual by the name of Haley Nicholson?
Yeah, she's my friend on in real life.
Okay, real life friends.
Oh my goodness.
He has one of those.
Oh, she's in the chat. Hi, Haley. Thank you. I love you too, and thank you for the support. I'm sorry you have to listen to this nonsense. I don't mix my real life with my internet life often, so this is scary.
Right, it's like Ghostbusters. You don't cross the streams.
Right, that's right.
You don't cross the live streams.
Ah.
There are the two Brayton Connors where I sort of have online. What's the word? Anonymity? What's the word?
Anonymity? Anonymity? Okay.
Yeah.
I said it right the first time, okay?
Yeah. I have that sort of thing where it's like I'm just a disembodied voice for the most part and like a picture of my smug face.
Uh-huh.
But then I have like the real world that I have to go into and explain my online actions, so this is scary. Nobody say anything incriminating, please. Raph.
Sure. Where's my hookers and blow, Brayton?
Sorry, I left your hookers and blow in my other pants. I have to go back and get them.
I'm not going in there.
And let's see.
Right.
Manda said, "Real life friend. What is this foreign concept that you speak of?"
Well, Amanda, it all begins like this. When a mommy and daddy love each other very much...
No, not that. You got to skip ahead a little forward, a couple years. See, at that point, you have to actually go outside the house and then actually talk to strangers to the point where they no longer become strangers, at which point they become your friends.
Yeah, usually it's the first one who doesn't punch you in the face. So exactly.
But who would want to go outside the house?
Yeah, it's so scary out there.
Yeah,
everything's so flammable, and it has cliffs everywhere.
You walk out the door and you immediately set yourself on fire.
Yeah.
Yep. And
I'm gonna stop that joke. It's getting disturbing now.
You get too close to real life.
Right.
And
the Crimson Weirdo. How about you stop this interview, set yourself on fire, and jump off a cliff, you son of a...
And let's see. Haley Nicholson also mentioned Pope Austin and Papa Schaff is proud of you too.
Those are inside jokes, my friends. Those are. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
I figure. I thought like, are they superhero like aliases? Are you part of like some secret justice league?
Yes.
Are they the forgotten members of Earth, Wind, and Fire? Because I so want to meet them.
Yeah, those are like the passwords when you go to a shady alley and you knock on the door and like a face. It's like that scene from Who Framed Roger Rabbit where a giant gorilla.
What's the password? Walt sent me.
Yeah.
And let's see. Sean Berry asked, "What was all your favorite part in making this fan series?" I would probably say like the initial watching of Gamera vs. Virus, all when we were all on Skype.
Yeah. Yeah, that was rewarding. Yeah, my favorite part was just when it was over with. And I don't mean like that and like it was a badgered. I was just really looking forward to it being completed, is what I mean by that.
My favorite part. Go on. You go, Andrew. You go.
No,
Andrew.
you go first. You go first.
Thank
One of you go
sir.
first.
Talk.
No,
damn
you
it.
first. No, you first. No, you first.
Hello,
All right.
thank you.
Hello.
Hello,
you.
Mark.
Yeah. No, my favorite part. Speaking of Mark, my favorite part was filming some of the Crimson Weirdo footage with my friends Mark and Cammy. We had an extremely fun time, and it was definitely a lot better than when I tried to take the section of filming by myself. That's a story all on its own. But we'll talk about that later about the parts we hated. And like Brayton, I do agree. Watching the final product together on that premiere night was very rewarding.
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like it was a big feeling of accomplishment. Like, hey, look what we did, guys. Yeah, so that was the thing. I was just really looking forward to it being a whole thing completed.
For my favorite parts, one was definitely like riffing it with you guys on Skype. That was a lot of fun. And the other one, I think, honestly, was getting into the character of Crow, because Crow has always been my favorite robot of the MST3K crew, as well as my favorite character from that series. So I personally took it very seriously when it comes to playing the character Crow. I tried to at first try to mimic Trace's voice a lot, but along the lines, Brayton basically said, just be yourselves. Like, don't try to mimic, any one of the real bots' voice, and just do how you would normally talk. And
yeah, because when I came to you guys with it, the really great part about that is I think you guys are just perfectly those characters to begin with. Like, your personalities and your voices, they just fit so naturally with them, I think, at least in my opinion. Like Andres has that wonderful baritone radio voice, which works for Tom Servo
Thank
really
you very
well.
much, as I always try to channel the voice of Casey Kasem.
Now keep reaching for those stars.
Keep your
It's
feet
gonna
on the
be
ground and
you.
reach for the stars.
I don't age because I'm secretly a robot. Now here's the classic horror movie, The Dark, that I helped produce like a sucker.
By
Zoink,
the way,
Scooby.
did you know I did the voice of Shaggy? We already know, Casey. Stop reminding us.
All right, then here's The Dark, a great horror movie where nothing happens in the dark.
If
You
you
are
ever say
very-
that movie is great, I will choke you, Raph.
No, I hate The Dark. I would never recommend that to anybody. That's the whole joke. He produced that movie. Blame Casey Kasem.
Oh, no! Why, Casey? Why?
Because I thought it was a good idea to get into the horror craze and also rip off E.T. and the Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
But anyways, getting back into the subject.
Yes. Anyways, yeah, and you, Andrew, you're just natural personality. You guys just fit the characters so well. So I thought, with the voices, less was more, and just be yourselves, and it'll be great. And it was. It's turned out perfect. Your guys' performances are wonderful, and that's the big thing. Everybody has universally agreed upon that I've seen is that the robots are fantastic. So you guys
I was
are
very
great.
surprised to hear that.
Yeah, so was I.
Yeah, because
It's like they like us. They really like us.
Oh, it's like on my DeviantArt page, I posted some photos of your Tom Servo, and yeah, everyone agrees. You're spot on as Tom Servo, as well as Andrew as Crow.
Yeah,
So-
there was one. I knew you guys would be great from the start, but when we were just recording the episodes, the big two selling points for me was Andres' little wimp,
Camp
his wimpy Camp Gamera letter from Gamera.
Me slowly going insane and losing my mind, getting too
Yes.
invested in it.
Yeah, while trying to remain diplomatic with his message of warning.
Mhm.
Yeah, and Andrew,
didn't even show.
And I am
And-
sent to
and yeah.
report that I am not a happy cat.
yeah, he just delivered it so perfectly. And Andrew, with just the sudden bursts of rage that he would occasionally have, all throughout, just at the start with "bird." What does he mean by bird? And then my favorite crow bit in the actual riffing of "So where's the cow?"
Yeah, where's the cow?
Yeah. With that says, I want to mention, Andrew, I think you hit a really good middle ground between Trace Ballew's crow and Bill Corbett's crow. So
yeah, Andrew's voice just kind of like it naturally fits there, like in that range anyway, and his personality just makes the whole thing come to life even more and works really well.
Yeah, because admittedly, I really relate a lot to like Crow. That's one of the reasons why he's my favorite character, because my personality is, I like to think a lot like his, like cocky yet can be temperamental at the same time. And if I want to sound silly here, Crow is basically my spirit animal.
Yeah, and you're also a robot without legs too. That's another.
Yeah, oh yeah. That's the downside, though. Yeah, that's the downside.
Technically, Crow does have legs, as voluptuously shown in the episode "Girl with the Golden Boots."
We don't talk about that, Raph. Don't talk.
Oh, sorry about that. So,
let's see. We did have another question where someone asked if Gypsy will appear on the show, and yeah, unfortunately, that's going to be a hard no.
Yeah. The Gypsy will not be appearing for very, very production-driven reasons of that. Luckily, when I built the Crow and Tom Servo stuff, there's a guy online who he sells both the completed robots and just the parts by themselves. And I went for the parts, like the kit with all of the stuff that you need in it, as opposed to the full things, because, they're very expensive, and I'm just like, if I want to invest any money in it, I'll just build it myself and have a fun little project out of it. But yeah, the parts for Crow and Tom they're rare to find, but they're reasonably available. The parts for Gypsy, like getting the correct car seat that forms her entire head, those don't really exist anymore, because they were deemed, it was an actual car seat made in the 70s and was deemed a safety hazard like 2 months into production. So yeah, that'll be a no. Gypsy will not be appearing. She will be Sir not appearing in this film.
You mean Miss not appearing?
Are we sure? I don't know. Her sexuality is ambiguous, Andres. I'm not assuming the robot's gender.
Didn't she sound more like a woman in the Netflix series?
Did you assume her gender?
Well, yes. I like to think that she's ambiguous. I don't assign sexualities to robots, Andres, unlike you narrow-minded man, you.
Well, technically, all robots are non-gendered, so you're in the wrong as well as you horrible robo-racist.
You're on the wrong side of history, Brayden.
Yeah.
Man.
Soon no one shall have sex, for no one is sex.
See?
That's deep.
Yes.
But no, the short or long answer to a very short question, no, Gypsy will not be at least appearing on screen in the future episodes. There may be like a voice, like a over the phone voice type thing, but not actually physically there.
And Cody just mentioned #Gypsy unconfirmed.
That's right.
Which is a callback to
right.
a very annoying trend in the Godzilla fandom.
Wait, Rodan isn't going to be in the next episode, Brayden?
God damn it.
Aren't all trends in the Godzilla fandom just horribly? Rodan might be in the next episode. I might throw a curveball and just put him in. I don't know.
Are we going to riff the Meg?
Oh. Well, the Meg is the greatest movie ever made, Raph, so why would you ever riff the Meg?
Funny enough, I started listening to the Meg audiobook.
Did? Why would you do that?
Because the book is better than the movie.
And it starts off with the T-Rex getting killed by a shark, which is cool.
Oh my god.
I know. I love that scene where, like, in the book, the T-Rex goes to take a shower after stealing a bunch of money from her boss, and then all of a sudden the Megalodon just shows up and stabs the poor T-Rex.
With his teeth!
Yeah, and you thought the T-Rex was going to be like the lead heroine of the movie, but she gets buried, and then the shark has to cover up the murder, and you're on the Meg side until it's revealed. Never mind, I'm just going to stop here.
It sounds like a really weird prequel to Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
He was actually in disguise as a whale.
I understood that reference.
Me too.
I would just like to know if you've started listening to the Solar Baby audiobook, Andres.
Not yet. But that will happen someday, one day.
Someday.
Maybe not.
Yeah. I don't think there is a Solar Babies audiobook, is the sad thing. Unless, Raph, you might like to produce one, though, because you're an expert on that.
Okay, you guys have a weird obsession with obscure movies, like Casey Kasem in the Dark.
Yeah, it's true.
And Cody Bratch said, like, Gareth Edwards would disagree in regards to the greatest movie ever made.
Yeah,
that's a joke that goes all the way back to the SOS podcast.
Oh, I have to throw in that "What's a Gamera" reference in there too.
Oh, yeah, I love that you added that in there. Like, I think even D-Man quickly caught on that. I think, and he's like, "That's the best use of the "What's a Gamera" joke ever."
Gamera. Wait, what's a Gamera?
Let's see. So, and Primal Graphenosaurus Rex says, "What's Solar Babies again?" I forgot. That's another callback to an old conversation we had.
You don't want to know what a
yeah. To quote our good friend Patrick Galvin, you don't want to know.
I
don't even know, but I don't want to know.
No.
I know it's a movie.
Raph is the only one. Raph is the only one here cursed with that knowledge.
Yeah, and I'm not sharing it. Yeah. So F you.
Let's see. Any other questions the audience has? I guess in this special case, we'll be expecting like live questions related to our MST3K project, and afterwards we'll go into answering questions from the last two lives that were left on the last two live streams. Matt Latcha says, "Will there be singing in future episodes?" We kind of did a little bit of singing in this episode.
Yeah, there's a little hints of singing like in the theater. In the second episode, I've written it already. There is a full-fledged song in the second episode.
Yes.
As for the third episode, there's also a song to cap off the whole series in a very fitting way. So yeah, there'll be. I can't promise the singing will be good, but there will be singing.
I remember we did the thing. It was like, you're probably wondering how I got here. Dun dun dun.
Dun.
Yeah, that worked out wonderfully. It's like, wow. It's like, oh, they're gonna sing in the theater. Cool. Oh, it just stopped. Nice.
Teenage
that's something
Wasteland.
Teenage Wasteland.
Yes. You're seeing right now why we didn't sing longer. It's because we can hold a note, but not for very long.
Right. It's not a good note.
On that note,
right.
On that note. Yeah. Oh, thank goodness you rejected my want. I originally wanted to do the voice of Tom Servo. Thank God you rejected me because I can't sing a note. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. Raph wanted to play two parts because he's stingy. He wanted to play the Mad and the Robot, which has never happened, of course, in Mr.
Yeah, it never happened at all. Yeah, so, but at the same time, I'm so glad you talked me out of it because Andres did a better job, and there's no way in hell I could have done Tom Servo and not cracked up under the pressure, as you'll see on April 1st.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been just sad. Like if I had flown you out here to actually operate the robot, and you'd be just like, "I'm sorry, Brayden. This is a pop shoot."
This is a humdinger of a doozy.
How many more scenes do we have left? 900 to go. God damn. We'll talk about that one later.
Let's see. Primal Graphenosaurus Rex says, remember the Netflix MST3K series? I haven't seen a lot of it, but from what I've seen, it's thoroughly enjoyable, although, again, I've had limited exposure to it.
Wait, there's a Netflix MST3K series? Oh, shit. Oh, no.
He's coming. I swear, I honestly, genuinely won't be surprised if they come in with a cease and desist, because there are actual people out there that actually like our project more than the Netflix version, which is mind-blowing, to say the least.
Yeah.
That's, considering we have like $14 million less of a budget, and it's filmed almost entirely out of my garage.
It really makes you think, what was the whole point of doing that Kickstarter?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to really get into for mainly that reasons of like expressing my true feelings publicly about the Netflix version. Although I will say I think a lot of the people behind it are like really funny and really talented. And
Pat
yeah,
Oswalt.
Pat Oswalt, he's amazing. And I like all the people who are doing it. So I'll say that for it. The only negative I'll say publicly is I just think it goes back to the point of it's just too overly expensive. Overproduced. Not trying to bloat our ego up at all, but I think it just kind of goes to show when you can accomplish the same sort of effect, obviously with lesser funny people behind it, in a garage in Iowa, as opposed to a humongous studio out in LA. I just think a show like that doesn't need all that pomp and circumstance.
I'm going to kind of follow your lead and not say too much about the Netflix season. I have both good and bad things to say it, but I will say that. I will say this. At least we didn't have Netflix itself breathing down our back, especially on the second season.
True.
So
that's the good thing. We had the wiggle room to do our first episode and learn from it. And we can do whatever the hell we want. Is the thing. We don't have to answer to.
And we're not making
Netflix,
any money, so this is all just a passion project.
Okay, listen, you jokers. Netflix needs 1 million more subscribers. So you're going to make a really quick season comprising of 3-minute episodes with only 2 episodes to go. Go, Netflix, command you. Oh, and we want you to end Voltron in the shittiest way imaginable.
Do it.
That's the thing. Like I've seen some people online saying, "Oh, are you gonna do more? Do this movie, do that movie." I've seen comments like that already pop up. And the point, like right now, we're only committing to doing these 3 Gamera movies, like the next 2. That's the end goal with this project.
Yeah, just 3 Gamera movies, nothing more, nothing less, for the time being.
Yeah. If by that time we are still having fun doing it and have the want or the desire to do occasionally a couple more, then we'll just talk about that when we get to it. But yeah, we only ever do like a handful and try to do them the best we can, mainly because this is a total non-profit love letter rather than a money-making venture, and you don't want to get bored with it. You want to have fun doing it. So only do the quality over quantity, basically.
Now, with that said, it's not only a love letter. Like, I know it's a love letter to Mystery Science Theater, but would it also be kind of a love letter to Gamera? Because that's the way I'm kind of seeing it.
Yeah,
I know that's
such.
Right.
Because you love you some Gamera.
Oh god, it's of my all-time favorite kaiju. I like Gamera almost as much as I like, maybe a little more than Godzilla. If on my top 3 kaiju, it's Godzilla, Gamera, and Hedorah, and not in that exact order. And let's face it, Gamera's never coming back, so I think this is the best we can do for the poor turtle.
But the short film, it
was all a lie!
Unfortunately.
The New York Comic-Con.
Dai Studio screwed up with the translation. That wasn't a test film, that was a pop shoot.
Well, maybe just like the original MST3K, if our riffing for Gamera goes well enough, maybe Dai will actually think about doing something about it.
I don't want to. I don't want to dress up as a Crimson Weirdo and fight a bunch of people in Gauss costumes on a model set.
But wouldn't you essentially be Nova from Ultraman? For those who don't know, type in Ultraman Nova, Nova.
I would like to think the Crimson Weirdo and Nova would get along very well. You wear the same cape as I do. Okay, go on.
Speaking of Crimson Weirdo, Cody Bratch asks, "What's weirder, the Crimson Weirdo or Gamera Super Monster?"
Gamera Super Monster, you twat.
Gamera Super Monster, I've only, my first time seeing it was the first run-through improv riff we did, that I did with Ralph. And I'd never seen it, like, I had seen, like, the Brandon's review of it and just little clips here and there. But that was my first time going through the full thing. It's a weird movie.
It really operates on stupid kid dream logic.
Yeah, and like the thing with the stock footage, I knew like that there was going to be a boatload of it in the movie, but literally they squeeze every single shot of Gamera just about from every past movie that they can.
Yeah,
into this
just to show like black and white footage with a red filter on a television.
Yeah.
I will say this in defense of Super Monster. At least they didn't go overboard with using stock footage from the black and white movie and try to tell us it's brand new color footage like Virus did. It's like I will give it that one little point.
I will also give it this: the editing of the stock footage, where they like pretty much like make abridged, more energetic abridged versions of all those cinematic fights, was well done. It was like the best they could do with what they got in terms of making old fights feel presentable in a new style.
Especially with that new music score. That new music score is actually really good. There are some good things about Super Monster.
If you take those fights and like upload them to YouTube in separate, like call them like Gamera highlight, like 3-minute Gamera highlights or like 2-minute Gamera highlights, they would probably work.
But I think you hit it on the nail earlier when you almost all the Showa era Gamera movies. As much as like Gamera, they are very flawed movies, I have to admit, and they do run on that kind of crappy child dream logic, which is partially the fault of the adult writers. Like it's kind of like the American equivalent. It's like, oh, we're making a kids movie. Just who cares about the logic in the script? And then you end up with Home Alone 3 or Electric Boogaloo or whatever the hell they call it. Or like the really
Battle Royale.
Let's not. No. That wasn't a family movie. That was a travesty. Yeah. No, I was going to mention like those really terrible direct-to-DVD Disney movies that they used to make, where it's like there's no conflict, there's no exciting thrill. It's just a really dumbed-down version of what the movie it was. Like Brother Bear 2. Yeah, he needs to find a girlfriend. There's your story, that kind of nonsense. But Gamera Super Monster also has kind of a melancholy tone to the whole thing. And I'm not just saying that because we get like Gamera meets Galaxy Express 999, which itself is like
oh yeah, like no American is gonna honestly, like, unless you're a fan of old school anime, no Godzilla Gamera fan is gonna know what the fuck Galaxy Express 999 is, nor Battleship Yamato.
Or the live action version of that one funny cop with his pet turtle who basically makes
the unibrow.
Yeah. That's supposed to be the actual
Shonen Jump character, right?
Yes, I believe he is.
Oh, so, and then they're actually reading, I think, an issue of Kinnikuman, I think.
So, the reason for that is because that publishing company co-produced Super Monster Gamera, and this was supposed. Yeah, and this was supposed to be the big stepping off stone for future Gamera movies, which of course did not happen.
Sponsored by Shonen Jump.
Gamera, Naruto needs your help. Quick, Gamera, Freezer's about to blow up the planet.
Let's see. Next question is.
So you can imagine my confusion watching this and not knowing what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that?
I guess to quote Jontron, what the fucking fuck?
No, I was just being assaulted with moving images is what it was. Just moving images and loud disco noises. It was
So Ready Player One?
Yeah. An avalanche of stuff, I tell you.
Yes, a cavalcade of stuff.
A depressing, slow-moving mudslide of stuff.
That's the best. Harley Ermy from Full Metal Jacket. Holy Jesus! What is that? What the fuck is that?
It's the remake of Willard, Arlie. You're going to appear in it.
Oh. Yeah, you're going to be co-starring it with Crispin Glover.
No! I'm not that weird.
You sang the Ben song. You have no right to say that, Chris.
Right.
Don't worry, he won't be around for the sequel.
Oh. Who, Ben or Crispin Glover?
Crispin Glover.
Okay. So.
Let's see. Next up, Sean Berry asks, which seasons of MST3K inspired you guys the most when making this project?
I don't know.
Brayton.
Yeah, I don't know. I love all of MST3K. I'm that much of a junkie for it. My first episode, the first like introduction I had to it was since I never watched it when it was on because I was too young, unlike all these old fogies who are knocking on death's door, according to some articles in Shoma.
I'll get into that. Yeah, you continue, but I've been with Mystery Science Theater longer than you, but I'll explain later.
Oh, I know. But yeah, like my first like introduction to it was the like early Joel stuff. So if any, that was really the inspiration behind what I was trying to do. I was trying to make these episodes fit in line with the rest of the Gamera episodes that they did because those are some of my favorite of the whole show. So yeah, that was really the inspiration, like tone wise of what we were going for, and having like the sort of Joel-esque segments of having all the robots and the host like, hey, here's our little goofy drawings of our funny little monsters. And Crow's wonderful Photoshop job on Still Getting.
And still Giganticus.
I just love how Crow is just so proud of Still Giganticus.
I'm very proud of that. And funny enough, that quote actually got into my group of friends. Like now they're starting to quote it. Yeah, in fact, if I could give a little shout out, since we're talking about a personal group of friends here, my friend Spencer, who is a writer over at ArcLight Comics, he watched the episode recently, and he's also a big MST3K fan, and he was and Brain, just to tell you, he wanted me to tell you that he absolutely loved it, and all, us as the bots were spot on, and all the jokes were great, and he's looking forward to more of it.
Yeah, that's just so awesome. I'm just really happy with how everything came together.
Thank you for giving us the gift, Spencer. You could say it's a gift, Spencer's gift.
Yes.
Okay, I had to.
Let's see. Another question was: it appears your story has Crow taking the satellite of love back to Earth, but then he would drive it back to the edge of the galaxy at some point in the future. Is that correct?
Okay, so
if you're wondering how Crow drives the, just keep telling yourself it's just a show.
It's just a show.
Back and relax.
Yeah, the canon of Mystery Science Theater. There's no show Bible for this shit. I believe one of them said at one point. One of the writers mentioned.
Joel.
There's no. Just relax, please. There's no. The timeline of this. That's the thing at the start where I was trying to come up with what is the story behind our little fan project? Where does this fit into the universe of Mystery Science Theater? And I think I spent a lot of time on that, and I really overthought it to the point where it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. There's a guy there. The two robots are there. There's a silly person down on Earth tormenting them. That's all you need. No one cares about the backstory. So if I go, I just feel like going into that would just be too long-winded and boring. So yeah, just relax on that part. It'll all be okay if you don't think about it too hard.
Mm-hmm. And yet, Mystery Science Theater has better continuity than the Marvel movies.
But does it have better continuity than the Gamera movies, though, Rob? The Gamera movies have wonderful continuity.
Monsters and aliens don't exist.
I don't care what you kids says. Sure, a giant monster destroyed all of Tokyo and killed over 40,000 people, but giant monsters aren't real because that's the way this movie works. Because the writer is high on Japanese weed. Blah, blah, blah. Sorry, you.
I really love that about Virus is that once the kids get back and they're like, "Oh, Gamera saved us, honest," and then Dr. Dobie's like, "Oh, you had a fun time making this up, didn't you?" And then literally after he says that line, the spaceship shows up and it's like, "Oh, I guess never mind. Oh shit."
Yeah, but it's kind of forgivable in Gamera vs. Virus because these kids are practical jokers, and it's a small little event, just meeting Gamera under the ocean. It's not like It's not like Gamera versus Giron, where the Earth is almost destroyed by the Viren aliens, where Gamera has caused millions of deaths through stock footage, and yet everyone in Gamera versus Giron's like, oh, aliens aren't real, even if we got a message from them. Anyways, on to our daily lives. It's like, oh, there's no such thing.
And I'll say this, I've said this before, I'll say it publicly here, having watched the movie so many times, I think I'm of the authority to say it. I'd like, Jim and Masao, I think, are the best Kennys out of the bunch. Sure, they're assholes, you know, trying to kill people with humorous jokes, but they're capable.
Who wasn't an asshole back then?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're a little bit older than the rest of the Kennys, and they're capable, you know? They get themselves out of little traps, you know? They angle their way back to Earth. They're smart, you know? They're not just they're not 5-year-olds in shorts who are just shouting Gamera constantly, even though they do shout Gamera constantly.
Gamera. Yeah, they have no. They go on.
What was that kid's? What was that kid's? I didn't hear that turtle's name the 82nd time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jim Masao also have a certain nobility to them in the sense that they were willing to sacrifice their own lives for the greater good. Something that the UN realistically says no to, which we know would never happen in real life. And not only that, but to be fair, compared to other Kennys, Jim and Masao, both the actors and characters, have good chemistry as friends. Whereas in Gamera vs. Giron, it's like it's almost embarrassing because the kids are. The kids are clearly half asleep due to the cold weather and donuts they ate on the Dai set, and it's they have no chemistry whatsoever, and the dubbing makes it even worse. It's like, you idiot, this is how aliens work. Oh, I didn't know that. Damn right.
Yeah. I like that. I like that Jim and Masao, you know, they're smart kids. They're a little bit older. They're not total damsels in distress, and they're.
Should we call them dipshits in distress?
Let's go with that.
I would save that for the dumb kids in Giron. Never mind.
Then they have good chemistry, and Carl Craig is still around, so good on him for acting good.
Yeah, one of the few gaijin actors who looked like he could actually do the job. We must stop Gamera from making any more Godzilla cells.
We must stop it from producing any more of that.
We must stop the Japan from producing
Japan.
We must stop the Gamera from saving the kidneys from Vera.
Because those kidneys would be more trash.
Right.
Yeah, I'd like to point out too. This is the first movie to feature a interracial Kenny couple, I guess.
An interracial heterosexual life mates.
Yes. I'm trying to say it in the most innocent, childlike way I can. Yes, there's a lot of white people in this movie. Like, it's the first one to feature so many damn white. Dr. Dobie, there's plenty of other Boy Scout extras who are white. There's a lot of, international border relations going on here.
If we look back at Gamera vs. Jiger, it's probably the first Gamera movie with a black dude in it.
Well, I mean, is that a great portrayal? I don't know.
He's loud and screaming and has a large presence.
And also,
how could you forget his immortal line? Jiger.
To be fair, that actor, I don't know his full name, but I've seen him in other Japanese movies, and he got off fairly well in that one compared to some of the other roles. As scary black
guy number 2 or scary black guy number 5.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's interesting, though. Yeah, Virus was able to open up broaden the race relations.
Yeah, Gamera was a very progressive series.
Yeah. Sadly, you know what the reason was. Yeah, you know what the reason was for that.
The same reason why we put Chinese people in Hollywood movies.
Damn right, trying to get money from a foreign land. No, so
Gamera, that if these Gamera movies came out today, there'd just be Reddit posts everywhere calling Gamera like a cuck.
A soy boy cuck.
Yeah,
right. It'd be social justice Gamera.
Yeah. No. What was funny was that AIP Entertainment They got the American rights to do the Gamera movies in America, and they requested to throw in a couple of white kids in there to try to appeal to American audiences, and it worked. And ironically, Dai Studios is more than happy to end the Gamera franchise right there and now. In fact, Virus was originally planned to be the final Gamera movie. But the movie did surprisingly well in Japanese theaters, despite how low budget and stock footage heavy it was.
Well, that's the thing. You aim low, you aim low, and you succeed.
Yeah, so
that's the secret. That's the secret to life, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
don't try. Have low expectations, and you'll win every time.
Yeah, just look at Ryan Reynolds.
You have a low bar, you don't have to jump as high.
Exactly.
Yeah, so just like Ryan Reynolds in the first Deadpool movie.
Well, to be honest, nobody was expecting it to be as good as it was.
Yeah, and I like that movie too. That's the only X-Men movie I can say I actually like.
Not Deadpool 2?
No, Deadpool 1.
No, but you don't like Deadpool 2?
I like Deadpool 2, but then it starts...
There you go. End of discussion.
It starts... Shut up!
No,
there you go.
The X-Men movies can set themselves on fire with Phoenix Fire and jump off a cliff.
Did you like Logan?
I tolerated Logan.
There
but
we go. That's another one.
There you go.
No,
did you like First Class?
Fuck no. The whole ending ruined that movie. It was going so well until the ending came up.
Did you like the majority of it?
You like the rest of it, though.
Screw the X-Men movies.
Did you like it?
Gamera Super Monster Forever.
Did you like it?
No, I'm not going to answer that because now you just sound like this is like a courtroom drama. Did you like the movie, sir?
Answer the question, sir.
You can't handle the truth.
We have photos of you at the location liking that movie, sir.
Yes, Professor
X. They will never release New Mutants. You're screwed.
Yes, Professor X deserved to die, and I hope he burned in hell.
Damn right. All right, getting away from those horrible X-Men movies to the less convoluted giant turtle movies.
Let's. We've been going for a while, so let's finish our thoughts on Gamera. Do ending thoughts on the episode, and then let's get to the questions.
One question we had was, what led you to include the retro commercials that you did?
Oh, well, that was just a thing. I think there was another fan-made Mystery Science Theater production that included old commercials from like the 50s. And I like that idea of kind of making it more like if you were to watch this, 20 years ago when it was on Comedy Central, to have those little commercial bumpers in there. So yeah, I just thought it'd be a fun little gimmick to have. For the next episode, I want to try finding weirdo commercials that relate like directly to stuff going on in the movie or the episode itself, because I really like how the McDonald's Camp Nipperson commercial went after the Tom Servo thing. Yeah, so yeah, I just thought that'd be a fun little gimmick to have in there, and yeah, everybody's like that so far too, so that's cool.
Mm-hmm. If only you had,
I have to say
related commercial eventually.
Yeah,
I was going to include one of the Pizza Hut ads for the Coming Out of Their Shell tour.
Oh my god, yeah, it would have been so perfect.
That'll be in the second one.
Yeah. You can count on us.
Just play that over the scene where Gamera destroys Kyoto in Gamera 3 Revenge of Iris, and it's perfect.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I'm gonna quickly say I love the addition of the old school commercials, and they were kind of a fun trip down the memory lane because I'm 30 and at death's door. But I gotta say, the Camp Nickerson commercial is probably the most disturbing of them all. That could have easily ended with all of them in like a rain crash. I mean, stalked by Voorhees in the woods.
But it was so cheerful and show them like McDonald's and you.
Yeah. It's commercials that make that makes kids dumber.
Oh, okay. Or you're just mad because you auditioned for that commercial all those years ago, Ralph.
They said I needed to wear yellow, and I came in my crimson robes.
You were quack waddling out there with them, and they told you to get off the set. That's why you're so
he was already like 25 when he applied for that, when he attempted to audition for that commercial.
Hey guys, the X-Men movies suck. Can we move on?
Yeah, let's move on.
Despite you liking them. Anyways, there
Screw
was
you.
another one question that's like, what is the worst MST3K episode?
Oh, that's a good question.
The one we did. No, I'm just kidding. Boing.
I go on. You guys go first. I have some.
I don't know. Again, because I am such like a really, really fanatic for it. I like all of them in their own charming little ways. If you want to look at the worst episodes of the show, it was probably the very first few episodes because they were still, trying to figure out what the hell it was they were doing. But the ones that I don't watch the most, the ones that I don't really go back and revisit are the ones with the really bad movies. So it's not really their fault as much as just, this is a really crappy, gray, dull movie. So I'm not going to inflict it upon myself again. Kind of like The Creeping Terror or what was it? What's that movie, Raph, with the Air Force?
The Starfighters? Yeah. The weird thing about the Starfighters is I actually enjoy that movie because the riffs are so spot on. But I can understand the movie itself is it is literally just an advertisement for that jet plane, and a jet plane that turned out to be very unsuccessful in more ways than one. Yeah. So, like for me, the worst movies of Mystery Science Theater are not only I understand your unlove for things like Starfire and Creeping Terror. But if the movie itself is just extremely boring and the riffs aren't saving it because the riffs themselves are pretty shitty, then you're in trouble. That's why I think you have like mirror opposites in Prince of Space and Invasion of the Neptune Men. Prince of Space, it's a generally fun, entertaining movie. Not the best movie, but it's entertaining. It moves at a good pace. It has some likable heroes and villains, and the riffing is spot on.
Crankor's amazing. He's an amazing.
Oh yeah. He gave his henchmen a couple hours off. You don't see that in cinema. There's a supervillain you want to work with for, But then you go to Invasion of the Neptune Men, where the villains are nothing boring. The lead hero is more non-essential to the plot than a billion Gameras, and it's just the riffing doesn't help. Other than that one awkward sketch where our heroes meet Crankor again, there are like I cannot stand Invasion of the Neptune Men because it's so horribly boring. And not only that, but I'm not a big fan of some of the movies that were featured on the Gauntlet, but that has more to do with the behind-the-scenes stuff with Netflix. Also some of the movies they picked were maybe a little... Oh, I know exactly what I think the worst episode of Mystery Science Theater is. Atlantic Rim. Like, the riffs were... Like, first off, the movie itself is just abysmal. It's way too hyperactive. It's impossible to get any riffs in there, and the riffs they do get in there are not that... Like, they desperately try, but I'm so glad they tried that experiment. And if by any chance, if they end up doing a third season on Netflix or another streaming service, if Netflix doesn't file for bankruptcy, I think that's funny. I honestly hope they don't ever do another Asylum movie or anything that contemporary again, because that was harsh. So this is I don't think a contemporary movie was an interesting experiment for them to try, but I think let Riff Track still have some business on that front. Let them tackle the contemporary stuff because they're a different. I don't know, Mystery Science Theater. I just feel like it just works better with movies from a bygone age, like the drive-in movies and that sort of thing. I just think it fits the format better. I would have much rather if they were going to do an experiment like that to do an animated movie. I think that would be really fun.
Oh, okay.
Like an old what am I thinking here? Like an old 80s sort of heavy metal type animated weird wacko kind of movie.
Or like Felix the Cat, the movie.
Yeah, that some questionable parts in Felix the Cat, but
right.
Oh well, it's Ralph Bashki. What do you expect?
Yeah, something like Wizards or something. I don't know.
I think Wizards might be a little too mature, but what about that rather underrated Gulliver's Travel animated movies from the 30s? The one from the makers of Popeye?
Those would be fun. Yeah, something I've always wanted to see a riff of, which doesn't seem to exist, is like the Rankin Bass stuff. I think would just be amazing.
Oh yeah.
those are classics, but they're also fun and light, and there's a lot of things to poke fun of in there. Yeah, I think a riff of the original would just be fantastic because there's a lot of things to poke at.
Why not do a double feature in one episode, like the first Rudolph followed by Rudolph's Shining New Year, which is just like Rudolph took some LSD and now he's fighting a vulture from the future or something.
That's true. What was the vulture name? The
Eon.
Yes, Eon.
Eon. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So with that says, what about like one of those weird direct-to-video anime movies like Ultraman 2 or Space Cateers?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, Attack of the Super Monsters would be wonderful.
Right.
Because that's just
nuts.
Yeah.
The characters commenting, it's like they're starting the movie over again with a new plot.
Space Wars 2000 would be pretty funny.
Ooh,
oh my god.
Let's not do that.
That's the greatest film ever made, Andrew. Why would you want to?
No.
The last question I'll cover for the MST3K related questions from Crooked Lore: which of the bots were the hardest to use?
Oh,
Crow.
Crow definitely was. Crow definitely. I mean, I brought them to G-Fest a couple years ago, and I think Andrew, you messed around with Crow, and I mean that in a wholesome way, a little bit, just like.
The lad loves his Crow a lot.
He was playing around with his sticking his hand up his ass and all that stuff.
Oh,
I think I did. I left them in your room for a night, Andrew, I think, because they were a little hassle to take back and forth. I don't know what went on at night, but yes, when Patrick wasn't.
Well, I understood the meaning of bite me. Let's just say that.
Sounds painful.
Incredible,
Andrew, you've defiled my puppet. How could you? You horrible thing.
Hey, he defied me. Don't start pointing fingers at the New Yorker here.
Sorry.
Thank God robots are plastic and easy to clean.
On a slightly less disturbing note, Crow is probably the most difficult one. Definitely the most difficult one to operate because they're not great for performance. The robots aren't. They're very top heavy. Like Crow, he's got all of this plastic stuff just glued onto him everywhere. So he's kind of hard to just lift above your head all the time, and he's got the eyes that move, and the head that moves, and the mouth, and everything. So yeah, they're just kind of unwieldy. And yeah, the puppetry in our episode kind of shows that. The work needs to be done there. But yeah, that'd probably be the most difficult one. Yeah. I almost broke him when filming. I told Raph that story. Almost. Ooh. Yeah, I stood up with the puppet.
He broke me. Brayton broke me.
Yeah, it's like Brayton was on the live chat. It's like, oh, come on, Brayton. The puppet wasn't that difficult. Oh, yeah, look at these.
Look at this. You operate this shit.
He has like 2 hooks for hands now. It's like, oh, my God.
Look what I've done.
Hey, repeat to yourself on one thing, Brayton. At least you didn't try to kill Tom Servo like Patrick did.
Well, Patrick, luckily when he killed Tom Servo, he just knocked the head off and it didn't like crack the dome or anything. So when I got home, I was just able to glue that on just fine. With Crow, it's a lot more difficult because he's got all this wire work inside, like for his mouth and his eyes to move left and right and up and down. There's like a little pulley system that he has inside. So if you break him, you're pretty much screwed, and you have to start back over all from scratch. That would just be a nightmare.
Yeah, it sounds like you're like a Russian agent, like interrogating Crow.
It's true. I'll tear you apart piece by piece unless you give me the information.
If we break him, we'll never get the information about how to escape the Netflix contract. Sorry.
Okay, so let's take a quick look and see how fast we can get through these questions from episode 14 and 15. Throwing episode 14, going to the oldest question. Let's see. This one, we have quite a number of questions from Jordan. He asks, have you heard of the anime series Bubblegum Crisis? It's basically an anime Blade Runner clone. I haven't watched it, but I've seen a clip of it with the 80s rock band segment. It looks 80s as fuck, and it looks really cool, and I definitely want to check it out.
I've seen the first 2 episodes, and I wouldn't really call it... There's a lot of inspiration from Blade Runner, because Blade Runner was very popular in Japan at the time. But it's mostly a hodgepodge of a lot of cyberpunk stuff that was going on. And it's also a little bit like Iron Man, in the sense our lead heroes are in cyber suits. So it's more like a superhero series that just happens to take place in like a dirty RoboCop Blade Runner type world. So...
All right.
It's okay, but it's definitely like 80s anime, not just in the looks.
Is it one of those things that's like style over substance?
I think so, especially from the 2 episodes I saw. And because it's 80s anime that was sent direct to video, there is a lot of nudity and violence, and it does get a little extreme at times. But not as bad. Yeah, I know you'd like that, Andrew. But not as bad.
I didn't say that.
Okay. Was that Andres? I know how much he likes his robot women. Don't worry, dude.
Yes.
We're all there. So, but I will say this: at least it's a better series than its immediate spin-off AD Police, which really goes overboard in the violence and sex territory.
So in terms of style over substance, would you say it's like kind of like Hardware?
Oh yeah, a little bit like Hardware with superhero fights. That's a good comparison.
Ooh. I'm familiar with Bubblegum Crisis, but I haven't really gotten the chance to get into the series yet. But I am interested in checking it out when I get the chance to.
Okay, let's see. Next question is from the same dude. Are you familiar with Masami Obari's work? Yes. I haven't actually watched his like, I forgot which anime he specifically worked on, but I have been exposed to a lot of his artwork, and it is like truly amazing, spectacular. He's like the embodiment of like dynamic robot posing.
Yeah, as well as fan service.
I'll take your word on that.
Right. Let's not get into detail about it.
Says the guy who constantly brings up Godanner. Let's see. Yep.
No. It's Godanner's the least of our problems compared to Obari's direct-to-video work.
Let's see. Anyone else with a comment on Obari's anime?
Well, I mean, Brayton left, so I can't really comment, but I'm trying to remember what Obari did that I might be familiar with. I'm trying to look up right now. Okay, now I'm seeing a couple of his stuff. Yeah, so far it looks like just mostly his stuff that I've seen, just never got the chance to watch just yet.
Okay. Let's see here. Next. What same person? Was there ever an anime, movie, TV show, or OVA that you felt was one of the worst pieces of garbage to ever exist?
So many.
I recently saw this YouTuber who covered this OVA called Twinkle Nora Rock Me, and it's like so unbelievably bad. Like the animation is so bad it looks more like a slideshow. It's like, wow, someone thought this was good enough to release on Laserdisc.
I've seen so many like really terrible OVA anime from my time at Blockbuster Video as a little kid. It's the ones that are bad have disappeared from my memory, but the one that kind of stays in my mind just because it's so unapologetically stereotypically animated to the point that it's obvious they weren't trying is this 2-episode OVA called Ninja Cadets, which is it's what Naruto would be if Naruto was done by stupid people, which is saying a lot. Oh god! And the only reason I have that is because they have a giant reference to like the magic serpent in the second episode. But it's not a good anime. But there's tons of like anime out there that's just not
Trash.
Good. Yeah,
Trash.
It's not good. You see, it's terrible. So I help produce it. I'm George Lucas.
Let's see. Someone named Haley asks, "Where's the Iron-Blooded Orphan season 2 review?" Honestly, I don't know. I'm still waiting on Denny to finish the series at fucking Bigfoot.
Yeah, I've seen the second season. If you need an alternative, I'll be there.
All right. Overall, I loved it. I know people hate it people hate Iron-Blooded Orphans for whatever reason, but I personally loved it through and through. Let's see. Sean Barry says, I've asked Brayton this, but Andres, what is your favorite Monty Python skit and Monty Python movie? I haven't watched enough Monty Python to have a favorite skit, and I haven't watched any other Monty Python movies other than Holy Grail, so I can't answer that either. Question:
Definitely check out the... Oh, sorry about that. Check out the first season. I think you get a big kick out of it.
Okay. What is your favorite Batman the Animated Series episode? Ooh, that's a toughie.
I guess for a nostalgic episode, I would say I forget the name of it, but Without a Soul was a really good episode with the robot Batman.
Oh, his Silicon Soul. His Silicon Soul. That's the name of the episode.
I think my favorite might either be like the Scarecrow episode where Batman has that that memorable moment of like, I am vengeance, I am the night, and the other one would probably be the Clayface episode, because that one really struck a chord with me as a little child in a way that no other show had an effect. It had an effect on me that no other show had beforehand.
Yeah.
Was that? I think it was called Heart of Clay.
Heart of Ice.
Yeah, Feet of Clay.
Oh, Feet of Clay.
The two-parter that introduced Clayface.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where he gets all fucked up.
Yeah, I adore Batman the Animated Series, but the one episode that always comes to mind when somebody asks me my favorite is Dreams in the Darkness, where Batman is infected by Scarecrow's chemicals when he's investigating a water plant leakage, and he tries and he gets captured by the Arkham Asylum people who thinks he's just crazy, not knowing that the Scarecrow actually has a dire plot underneath the reservoirs of Arkham. And it's a great episode because if they could turn that into a live-action short film and have it play in front of a full-length DC movie, it'd be fantastic. But as just a standalone type story, it's great. And it's like, and I think even knowing they did a great job with the Scarecrow in the Gotham Knights 4th season, I think he's extremely good as a villain in that episode. So...
Yeah, and I know this one's going to sound cliche too, but if I were to name my favorite Batman the Animated Series episode, I would have to go with Heart of Ice. Because that was the episode that introduced me to my favorite Batman villain. Well, even though Batman and Robin was my introduction, but that series really made it synonymous for me that Mr. Freeze was my favorite Batman villain.
Oh, that episode alone saved Mr. Freeze from obscurity. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
Yeah, like the pacing was great, the storytelling was incredible, and Mr. Freeze made for an outstanding villain, and Batman had a lot of really funny lines in it.
Just to let everybody in the comments know that we're not going to be answering any more questions from the live chat. We're going to be answering questions from the previous episodes that were left in the comments section. So if you have a question now, you can leave it in the comments after the live stream is done, and then next month we'll be answering those questions. Sorry about that, but that's sort of the system we've been trying to go with since, like, the second half of last year.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, sorry, Andrew.
No, I pretty much said everything else I needed to say. Heart of Ice is just a fantastic episode, and I would highly recommend anyone to check it out. Not even just for Batman or even superheroes, but just storytelling, period. If you want to know how to write a great story, watch Heart of Ice. It's that good.
Okay. Next one. In honor of the late Steven Hillenburg, this shows you how old this question is. Favorite SpongeBob episode? Definitely the Graveyard Shift. I love that episode. I love having two characters in a small environment, just chatting it up and getting into mischief along the way. Love the parody of, the horror tropes. If anything, my second favorite episode after that would be Band Geeks, of course.
Yes. Yeah. I think my personal favorite episode, my two favorites, is definitely Band Geeks, of course. And the other one, I might say the Alaskan bullworm episode.
Oh yeah, that's good. It's big, it's scary, and it's pink. So
that was Patrick's belly button. It was an Alaskan bullworm.
I have a special fondness for the I don't remember the name of the episode, but the one where they make their own Mermaid and Barnacle Boy movie.
Yeah, that was a season 5 episode?
That's like a much later one, I think.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was actually a very good episode.
They're using actors. Yeah. Yeah, there's so many great SpongeBob episodes. I mean, I can't really pick a favorite.
Yeah, it can be hard, I admit. And
I rewatched recently though, like one of the older ones where like it's really dark, but it's darkly hilarious, where they think they kill a health inspector.
Yes,
and
I
like,
love that one.
That's a great one.
It's really dark, but it's amazing.
I think it was called the
it's
Nasty Patty.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. What's your favorite SpongeBob episode, old man rap?
The one they didn't show to make way for actual programming that isn't SpongeBob on Nickelodeon. So that was like one time, once every 10 years.
How
Well,
many
Raph, you're
times
so-
do we have to
back
teach
in
you
your
this
day.
lesson,
Oh,
old man?
man.
Yeah. Okay, I have.
Rap, your
there's-
version of SpongeBob was like the Oswald Rabbit, right? And like the like Betty Boop and the old Max.
No, my version of SpongeBob was watching a giant prehistoric sea sponge emerge from the sea and say he was going to kill all cavemen. That was some good eating that night, but no. I actually do kind of have an answer, but it's kind of an odd one. I've only seen one episode of SpongeBob, not counting the two
What the
movies.
fuck?
I did enjoy the movies. I will say that. But there was and it was funny because it was an episode that came at the right time when my mom she opened a restaurant sometime in the early 2000s, and sadly her business partner, a complete moron who's no longer with us, thankfully, ruined it. Despite the wonderful work she put into it, and people went to that restaurant for her. So she was sad, and she saw the episode where SpongeBob was challenged to a burger making contest by Poseidon.
Oh, yeah.
And-
No, that's
yeah.
Neptune.
King Neptune, thank you.
Fucking
And the episode,
dumbass.
yeah. Andres, I'm telling a sweet story about my mom and SpongeBob here, so shut up. So what happened was, yeah, she watched this episode randomly on television. I was there with her, and of course the story is that King Neptune is outshined and defeated by SpongeBob because SpongeBob took his time on making one good burger instead of a million burgers that all tasted terrible. And that alone was the story of mom versus this guy at the business, and that really put her into a good mood and made her feel that, yeah, she may have lost his business, but she succeeded where the other guy failed, because after she left, the other guy could barely keep the restaurant open for another month. And like I said, he's gone, dead and buried, and hooray!
Did
So,
you
yeah,
take
that's-
care of it personally, Raph.
No, I would have set him on fire and pushed him off a cliff. But
In that order.
yeah. Yes, in that order. So it's no fun when again, it's hard to light a fuse when you have all that wind coming down. But anyways, I will say that one SpongeBob episode definitely came in at a moment that my family needed it the most. And even though I'm not a big fan of SpongeBob, I am grateful for the show to exist just to have that positive moment. So.
And one person also brought up Survival of the Idiots. Oh, that's another one I loved as well, when Patrick and SpongeBob were like stuck in Sandy's like winter themed dome. He's like, "Who's the real Dirty Dan?"
Who you calling Pinhead? Yeah. Oh wait, another one. Amanda referenced this one. Frankendoodle.
Oh,
That's another great
a good
one.
one. Nyoi, nyoi,
Yeah.
nyoi, nyoi, nyoi.
I'm sorry. What was that?
I brought you into this world. Now I'm gonna take you out.
And of course, my favorite one of my favorite jokes came out from that episode. Happy birthday! Here's your present. Poof. You're welcome. That became my excuse to use that for when I have to tell people happy birthday on Facebook.
Now, Raph, do you now understand what it's like when you make your stupid little Arthur C. Clarke jokes? It's a lot like this.
No. I was gonna say it's like I picked did any of those episodes have like a positive, almost Christ-like moment on your lives? No, so I win the argument
Yes.
barely.
You don't know what it's
Then you
like
have-
to have
you
grown
have
up with
one
SpongeBob.
freaky-
You're old and shit.
SpongeBob taught me how to be a better sea sponge, Raph, so you watch your dirty line.
Right. You do know your mouth and your anus is the same thing, right?
I know that.
Why do you think
Okay,
you
just
spew
making-
shit all
just
the
making-
time?
Yeah.
That's right.
Let's see.
I will say this. Thank goodness they didn't design SpongeBob to be like a real sea sponge, or it'd be a freaky show.
Let's see. Next up, thoughts on the British comedy show Faulty Towers? Never saw it. Any of you guys?
Yes, I saw. I love the first season because it's everything I love about a slapstick comedy, and basically it's about John Cleese playing like the worst hotel manager imaginable in like a British country cottage.
Okay, I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, and it has some really good slapstick and character comedy in the first season. I don't like the second season, or the second series as they call it in Britain, because in the first season, I can't stand comedies where you have one character constantly suffering at the hands of arguably worse characters. In the first season, even though John Cleese's character was a dick, he would still get his little victories here and there. Or it's like if there was a bigger villain in the episode, he or she would definitely get their comeuppance. The second season, it's just everyone's taking a figurative crap on John Cleese's character, and it gets annoying after a while, especially but no, definitely check out the first series of Faulty Towers, and I think there's a couple episodes from that first series available on YouTube for free.
Okay.
So, but it's very fun, it's very hilarious, and I love the episode where John Cleese has to get like this expensive cake to a party, but his car breaks down. Of course, at least has a famous scene where he just runs off camera, grabs like a random tree branch, and starts hitting the car to death.
Okay. So next question. Brayton, I'm interested in exploring William Wyler's filmography. What do you recommend besides Ben-Hur?
Oh, gosh. Ben-Hur's I watched Ben-Hur for the first time, funny enough, in history class. That's a damn good one. Didn't they remake Ben-Hur?
Yes, they
recently?
did. And nobody gave a shit.
Yeah, it's like I was with a girl who liked to sneak into theaters like I did, and we're like, oh, do you want to go see Ben-Hur? It's like, no, we don't need to. I agree. That's how bad it was.
You were with a girl who liked to sneak into theaters with you, Raph?
Yeah, Gail.
Oh my gosh!
Don't.
This just upsets me more and more every time you tell me about your sneaking into theaters experiences.
Right. So it's like we're part of a secret cult, the Sneaky in the Theaters cult. We don't have a good name.
The Sneaky Cheekies.
Thank you. We will use it. I will bring it up at the next meeting down at City Hall. The cheeky.
But anyway, yeah, the Ben-Hur was my start with William Wyler, but I would definitely recommend The Big Country. That's another great one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Brayden, are you going to watch Evangelion since it's going to be on Netflix in June?
No, stop the question. Never.
Okay.
No, that is my hill that I will die on. I will never subject myself to any of Anno's crap again. I mean, like that happens, internets.
Oh, at least give his live action Cutie Honey movie a chance. It's a fun It's a fun time.
I hate that. I watched that movie.
Did you watch that movie?
How can he can't even enjoy the fan service in that movie?
There's not that much fan service. It's more just a lighthearted comedy about
really?
these three friends.
Raph.
Yeah, well, compared to the anime, it's G-rated Disney fluff. Relatively
Raph,
speaking.
we're gonna have a talk about that later.
Let's see. Question.
I honestly can't remember ever seeing that movie, Ref. So I was just saying that to get your goat. But
you'll never get my goat. That's good milking.
Thoughts on the comedy film The Great Race?
Oh God, you go first, Brayton.
It's a great movie, and I recycled music from it. Those are my thoughts. Raph, you go. You love this movie.
I love. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. If anybody in the chat, if you've never seen The Great Race, give yourself a good Saturday or Sunday afternoon to watch it. It is extremely fun. It's in the same vein as It's a Mad World, but it's a more concise, more condensed story. And just watch for Jack Lemmon alone. Jack Lemmon he's an inspiration for characters like Dr. Forrester on Mystery Science Theater. He's a big influence on my characters, especially Jack Hawks and Dirty McCorruption. And Jack Lemmon, if you're going to see the movie for any reason, see it for Jack Lemmon because he is hilarious in that movie.
And Peter Falk too.
Yeah. You can't say it. You can't forget the main villain without his wonderful sidekick. But it's a very fun. Yeah. No, it's a very enjoyable movie. It's a lot of fun. It's a big, epic 1960s comedy, but it has a bit of a charm to it. So yeah, I would highly recommend it. Just know that it's kind of a broad slapstick comedy, but it needs to be, especially with that great climax with what is arguably one of the greatest pie fights in cinematic history.
Yep.
Okay. Last question from Sean Berry as of this episode 14. What are your hopes for 2019? And because this is an old episode, old question, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Hopes for 2019 to finally release my comic book.
Nice. My hope is to also release a comic book before the year's over, and also get the bum out of the Oval Office. Yeah!
Oh, God.
I had to.
Yeah, my goal is just to make it to the end of 2019. That's probably the... Be nice.
My goal would be to at least get started on the comic that I want to work on, and also a short film that I'm currently storyboarding.
Cool. Next question. How do you feel about Steve Blum voicing Saburo / Hakaider in Kikaider the Animation? He's fan-fucking-tastic.
He is amazing.
Yes. Even though I don't like that series.
You can go fuck yourself.
You go to hell.
Sure. As long as you're not telling me I like the X-Men movies, I will accept that.
You can go fuck yourself on that as well.
Right. No, screw you. So
Okay, okay, you know what? Let me...
Screw you!
Screw you
Let me, okay, Raph, let me...
Screw you double! Screw
you harder!
Raph, let me put it to you this way. Set yourself on fire and go down a ditch. How about that?
Yeah!
But then the fire will be put out if it's a ditch. It needs to be a cliff. Because if the fire doesn't
fine,
get
go
you...
down the cliff.
Good boy.
Then
you are
roll down
learning.
then roll down a ditch.
Right.
Then you will break both of your legs. That's the quote.
Yeah, but the water...
Man.
Yeah, but oh yeah, that is a good scene. The Invisible Man's a good movie.
Yes.
Next, can you name a few Tokusatsu series that you haven't seen that aren't Kamen Rider or Super Sentai or Godzilla or Gamera? What are your thoughts on that you have seen? Okay, and what are your thoughts on them if you have? Super Robot Red Baron, I like that. Mitsurugi, very bizarre but very unique. What else?
Space ninjas have kidnapped our princess.
Giant Robo, classic.
Mm-hmm.
AKA Johnny Sacco and his flying robot.
Right.
What else? Supaidaman. It's goofy, it's weird, bizarre. I just wish that they didn't lose the Leopardon costume after episode 3. Let's see. Those are some that are off the top of my head. You guys?
Go. You want to go in first, Andrew?
You go first.
All right. I utterly adore Metal Dur. I think that's one of my all-time favorite TV shows. Period.
Big Bad Beetleborgs. It's absolute crap.
Are you mistaking Metal Dur or VR Troopers for Big Bad Beetleborgs?
No.
Okay. I adore Metal Dur. I love Space Sheriff or Giant Beast Investigator Just Beyond, which is getting an official release from Discotech later this year, and I am the happiest boy imaginable.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, exactly. That is that series is like an 80s anime turned up to 11, but done in live action form with kaiju and robot fights. What else?
Give us more stuff.
Yeah,
more
exactly.
Stuff.
Okay. Quick shout out to movies like the first Ogon Bat. Prince of Space is a lot of fun. This movie. I will defend the live action Cutie Honey movie. I think that's just a very fun time. And Message from Space that's a surprisingly good movie, despite all the people who hate it online, just because it's not Star Crash or Star Wars or some nonsense like that. And can't go wrong with Gridman. Although I think I enjoyed the anime series a lot more. So that's my answers.
Okay. There's a lot to pick from. I definitely would highly recommend Metalder. That was a fantastic series and introduced me to the Metal Hero series. Not an Ogon Bat, not just the live action film with Sony Chiba, but also the anime series from 1967, which unfortunately is not in English subbed currently, but all the episodes are online YouTube, and it's a fun little series to watch. Just because I've been watching this series recently, I would highly recommend checking out Mirror Man. That's an excellent show.
Mm-hmm.
And a great example of Super Aya Productions without doing Ultraman. And let's see what some other examples. Of course, I would also recommend Kikaider, that the animation. That's a great anime series. Not so much when it comes to the live-action Tokusatsu series, but if you like that kind of stuff, you'll enjoy it. And what else? Because I've been getting into this one recently, I would also highly recommend Gara. That's actually a really great series, as well as the Zoram two-parter. And what else? What other ones that I've been checking recently? What I would also recommend is Nebula Mask Machine Man, who's also by Ishinomori. Let's see. I think I pretty much covered all the ones that I wanted to talk about. Yeah.
All right. Next up is Primal Graphenosaurus Rex, who left a lot of questions. Let's see if we can burst through them all. Let's see. What's the better Bigfoot movie? Suburban Sasquatch, Bigfoot versus D.B. Cooper, or Little Bigfoot? All from Red Letter Media. I'm going to say Suburban Sasquatch.
They all suck.
Brayden Connor, 2019.
The best big movie, as Raph and I know, is The Capture of Bigfoot. Indisputably, for all time, nothing will ever top it.
Yes. Capture Bigfoot all the way, baby.
Yeah. But out of those three, little Bigfoot? Fuck, I don't know. That one looks like a movie, kind of, at least. You know, there's actors in it, sort of, I guess. I don't know what's going on.
It's the closest to looking like an actual movie, but it's the most boring of them all. I don't know. D.B. Cooper is another. It's a hard contender for that as well.
I take it back. That's the best Bigfoot movie ever. I take back everything I said. I love the plot.
Sure, the plot.
For the plot. And you accuse the live action Cutie Honey of having too much abundance of fan service. It should have been called like 15 shirtless guys in the woods.
It's like this is like the male equivalent of like those anime memes where it's like a girl whips out her tits and it's like plot.
Yeah. It's like watching the Pamela Anderson portions of Baywatch where she's running like up and down the beach, but just watching a gif of that like on loop for 3 hours. Mm-hmm. That's what watching D.B. Cooper and Bigfoot is like for me. Pretty much.
Of course. Let's see. Next question. Which is the better canceled Spider-Man film? James Cameron Spider-Man, where it's just Terminator but with Spider-Man, or the canon film Spider-Man, where he was literally a mutant Spider-Man fighting animal mutants and was suicidal? I'm going to go with James Cameron just because it's James Cameron.
Good question. I mean, we kind of already got that other Spider-Man film with the movie Earth versus the Spider from 2001.
Oh, I know that one.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good movie if you guys ever get the chance to check it out.
Yeah, I remember seeing it as a kid. I wouldn't mind revisiting it to get the full effect.
It doesn't hold up as well, but the visuals by Stan Winston are really good, and it's got a really nice story to it. It's just the acting is a little rough to get through, even by Dan Aykroyd.
Oh yeah, Dan Aykroyd was in that. I love that guy.
He was the detective in that movie.
Right, we weirdos have to stick together.
Yes. But I might just go with the James Cameron version, just because it was a little bit more interesting.
I would have to say the James Cameron version would have been interesting, but at the same time, the Golden Globalist version would have been such an amazing train disaster to see. It sounded like it just sounded like, oh my god, that would have been a weird experience to say the least, a memorable experience. So. Okay, and plus it's Golden Globus, so you know it would look like a decent, terrible movie.
Let's see. Did you give your answer, Brayton?
No, I would definitely go for it. Was it Golden Globus or Canon? I would definitely go for that. Canon, yes. I would definitely go for the Canon Spider-Man. Yeah, the James Cameron one would probably be much better. But
like Cameron or Canon?
Yeah, isn't Canon and Golden Globalist the same company, or the Golden Globalist brothers?
I don't know.
Ran Canon?
I think they're different. Was there a merger between those two companies?
I think so. The next 6 hours is just us trying to figure out the mechanics of Canon.
From one big crappier company? Is that what you're saying?
Let our powers combine.
let our
We are
powers-
Captain Crappy.
Yeah. Anything is possible.
If you put your mind to it. Let's see, number 3. Thoughts on the Snouters, Form and Life of the Rhino Grades, a speculative evolution book that puts man after man to shame. I have never seen that.
What?
I've seen Man After Man. That is like fucking disturbing shit. I want to know what the Snouters are.
I will quickly explain it. Back in the 60s or late 70s, a Russian biologist wrote this funny book. It's supposed to be a comedy speculative evolution book about a small island where all the rodent animals evolved with specialized snouts that act as like a third hand. And what the gag was that the island was destroyed by atomic testing on the same day that there was a scientific conference on the island of scientists who studied the animals on it. So the gag is nobody but the author of the book is around to confirm that these creatures ever were real. And Snouters has become kind of a famous shorthand amongst biologists for like weird creatures with a niche, or speculative evolution gone a little on the fantastical side. But it was meant to be a comical book about like these like hundreds of different rodents with bizarre trunk-like snouts that can do everything from standing on their snouts, or like
I'm looking at some of them. They're like some of them have like 4 snouts and they're walking on them like tentacles. Exactly.
The book was meant to be a giant satire, and I only recently discovered it recently thanks to a good YouTube video about speculative fiction, and that was like one of the first true attempts at speculative fiction, even though it was completely meant as a joke by its original author. So yeah, that's what is now. I would definitely, if I had to choose the two, though, I think Afterman is a lot creepier and more interesting with a variety of.
I'm looking at I'm looking through Google Images, and I think Man After Man still takes the cake.
Yeah, and not only that, but obviously the question was meant to be a joke, because that's like saying, what's the scarier movie, Hellraiser or the Twonky? Or the Giant Claw. There, I'll go with a movie that we've all heard about. So it's like, yeah, what's the scarier movie, Hellraiser or the Giant Claw? The Giant Claw all the way.
Let's see. Next up, thoughts on Monkey Jones being witch hunted by YouTube, the biggest tragedy in internet history. Yeah, that does suck what happened to Monkey Jones' YouTube channel. I was recently a follower of his starting last year, and it really sucks how it's like what happened to him was he does produce like some like edgy content in like similar to the style of like say Filthy Frank, if anyone knows who Filthy Frank is. And it's
hey, I say I broke into your car. I had to bring in one reference of Filthy Frank here.
I appreciate that. And
You're welcome.
Monkey Jones, he did a series on school shooter Elliot Rodger. Just, he made a lot of videos like going actually for serious, going in depth into looking into studying the man of the mind of this crazy, batshit insane individual. And I guess because of that, it's like YouTube says, oh, we can have, people talk about school shooters on YouTube. And they send him like a copyright strike, like 3 copyright strikes in like an hour, like before he could even respond to a single one of them. It's like boom, boom, boom. And it's like he tried to open another channel. Bam, YouTube blocked it. His girlfriend tried to upload his stuff on her channel. Boom, they deleted her channel. And so it's like he is literally like blacklisted off of YouTube. In fact, he does a podcast on another YouTube channel called State of the YouTube, or SOTY. And for a while, because of his association with SOTY, the SOTY podcast, their channel got demonetized by YouTube for a little while. And so it's like he was dealt like a really shitty hand. And now he currently just does live streams on Twitch and uploads his own videos on his own website. But
thank goodness your Mystery Science Theater fan film only has the threat of being sued by Joel Hodgson as its worst case scenario.
Right. There's no cursing. There's no references to school shootings. Nothing like that.
Yeah, wait till you get to episode 2.
No, what are you
sorry?
No. I'm blanking out on all the school shooting jokes opportunities there are in Gamera versus Jiger, Raph. What are you talking about?
But you shared me the ideas. You said let's laugh at the suffering of these
imagine
poor
all the
kids.
abortion jokes we can make with Jiger.
Oh. Andres, sit in a corner. I was being facetious. You're being honest.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-bum.
Boy.
Let's see. But yeah, what happened to Monkey Jones, terrible, and YouTube should be ashamed of themselves. Next up, number 5. Thoughts on UFO Robo Grendizer. Honestly, I'm not that big a fan of Grendizers. In design, I mean, I haven't watched the show. I've mainly been exposed to his design. I know the basic storyline. I know his basic power set. And honestly, I think it's kind of stupid how Go Nagai refuses to include Grendizer in any of the Super Robot games, nor does he refuse to showcase Grendizer in any sort of crossover event, because he simply he kind of treats, from what I've been told, Go Nagai treats Grendizer as his ultimate OC OP character, and no one can be stronger than Grendizer. So it's like,
I thought he rejected the character because that's when Toei Productions kicked his ass off the got rid of him.
No, but because you see, he's constantly bringing back, Mazinger Z and Great Mazinger in a lot of the newer anime, and especially the recent anime movie. But you never see Grendizer show up because he doesn't want to compare his old school characters that he keeps making stronger and stronger, and he doesn't want to compare them to his precious baby Grendizer. So I feel, and also, because Grendizer doesn't at all get included in the Super Robot Wars games, it's like he sort of, Grendizer has sort of been losing popularity just because he refuses to showcase his character alongside other characters because he wants his character to be number one. So I feel like UFO Robot Grendizer is like a really good cautionary tale of what happens when you get too obsessed with your own OC.
Brayton, by the way, the Crimson Weirdo, I decided he's going to be the best character ever, so I don't want him a part of this fan series anymore.
Oh.
He's just too powerful. And he can turn into a flying saucer.
I guess we'll have to cast the better, funnier, evil villain Crooked Lore in your place then, Raph.
Sure thing, but he's not as powerful as the Crimson Weirdo UFO Robo, man.
He's got a cat girl. What do you have, Raph? A Mark and a baby narwhal.
The narwhal's a better character.
Let's see.
And if not, we could always get Boo the Boyish Wonder.
Yeah.
True.
Oh, she would make her great mad. So, I will destroy. I can't do it. I can't do the voice of Boo. Never mind.
I will destroy you all!
Andrew, you're the new Boo!
Oh my god! Win, don't kill me, whatever you do.
Right,
send me to Detroit, please.
And
Not that either.
we just cut the stock footage of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, but it's like Win with the chainsaw after you. It's like, take Win away from me. I'll get you. Breaking has a metal plate. I'll get you, Andrew, man, and your little dog too.
Get that bitch!
Let's see. Number 6. Thoughts on the upcoming Super Robot Wars games, Super Robot Wars T and Super Robot Wars DD. DD being the new mobile game that actually has the gameplay of the classic Super Robot Wars games, and Super Robot Wars T, which is the first game to come out on the Switch. I just ordered it off of Play Asia and currently waiting for it to be delivered to my house or apartment. I can't wait to finally have a Super Robot Wars games that I can play on consoles and on the go. I've been constantly contemplating whether or not I should be getting these games on Vita or PS4, but the Switch allows me both options.
Was that your answer?
Yes.
How lucky? Quick question for you: how lucky are you that in the last couple of years, a lot of the Super Robot games have included an English option because they know how popular these games are outside Japan?
Yeah, it's a huge convenience to me because the only time I was able to play these games in English was to download a ROM file for the PlayStation 2 or Nintendo DS or PSP emulators. But yeah,
nice.
It's really good to have these I think it was starting with Super Robot Wars, OG, Moon Wars, something or other. The one with the original characters, no licensed characters. It was starting around that time, around 2016, 2015, that they started making English versions in the Asia, like Hong Kong region. So I imported Super Robot Wars V from Hong Kong for the Vita, and now I'm importing right now Super Robot Wars T for the Switch.
Nice.
Thank you. And next, thoughts on Detective Pikachu, the first realistic live-action Pokemon movie. I'm super excited for that.
I'm familiar with Pokemon. I've seen plenty of episodes of Pokemon. I'm not a big Pokemon fan, but that actually looks fun. Like I wouldn't mind seeing it. Yeah, that's the ticket. Yeah.
Burn it and throw it off a cliff. That's my opinion. I just hate how it looks. I don't like.
How dare you?
I've told my friends this. I have no interest in seeing it at all. I don't like the idea of.
How dare you have
Pokemon.
A different taste than ours?
How dare I have a different opinion? I just think they
what
look.
What do you mean
creepy.
you don't agree with me? Don't you know who I am?
You maniacs! You blew it up!
It's official, Brayton. No one's coming back for the second episode. You're having to play all the roles.
I'm gonna be dead by the time this chat's over. But no,
my god, yeah, we're a good 2 hours in. We want to speed round some of these questions.
We're probably not going to get to episode 15 questions. We're probably going to have to do that next month.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, wrap up your thoughts, and then Brayden can go.
Basically, I just don't like how it looks. I don't like the story. Ryan Reynolds' Pikachu just feels very off, and yeah, that's pretty much it. It just feels like typical Hollywood stuff. I'm not interested in the slightest. Like I just get the vibe of the Smurfs movie or any one of those type of movies.
Okay. That's a good opinion. It's like I don't agree with it, but it's a good opinion.
And Brayton?
Didn't everybody want Danny DeVito to play Detective Pikachu?
That's very true.
Yeah.
I would have been more on board about it if that had happened. I wasn't a huge Pokemon fan growing up. Like the only thing I'd seen of it, much like Power Rangers, was the movie, the first movie with like Mewtwo and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It looks cute enough and fun enough. I just really wish Danny DeVito was Pokemon, or I wish he was Pokemon.
I wish he was Pokemon.
I wish he was Pokemon.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can say that about anything with Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito would make any movie better.
Play everything. That's right. He's going to play Dirty McCruption in the Raph and Shoma movie. That's already.
Right. So, although I have to take the character back because Danny DeVito is too powerful for the Raph universe.
Well, I know. Then your Dirty McCruption would have to fight his Dirty McCruption in the middle of downtown Tokyo while exploding refineries go off all around you, and one of you is revealed to be a cyborg.
It would be like Minya versus Destroya. It would be awesome. He's short.
I'm picturing the Gabra Minya fight from Godzilla's Revenge, where you're just kind of knocking him around and he's crawling under you.
He gets the help from Charlie Day to jump on a log and defeat me at the end.
Oh god, I try to imagine Destroyer screaming while he's spinning in the air.
Whoa!
Let's see. Next up. Oh yeah. Ironically enough, or strangely enough, the whoever is doing the anime for the Pokemon anime, they are doing a full CGI remake of the first Pokemon Mewtwo movie.
Yeah, I saw a trailer for that. That looks weird, but I might check it out.
I think it's probably one of those things where like Japan is once again jealous of what America is doing, and there's like, we can do it better.
We can do it.
Now, like what happened with Shin Godzilla and American Godzilla. It's like
now. To be fair, the whole thing with Shin Godzilla and Godzilla 2000 had nothing to do with pride and jealousy. It had to do with money. They were going to make those movies regardless if they liked the American films or not.
But what happened? Remember that quote? We're not going to bow down to America, Hollywood.
I've said this before. Toho, as a company, just seems like a really shitty girlfriend, like a really bipolar, just bitchy girlfriend. Won't accept anything good that you've done for them and treats everything with like that passive aggressive bullshit kind of attitude.
To be honest, I've actually experienced that.
Yeah.
You dated Toho Studios, Andres?
Yes,
I knew it.
Was
You're in Japan. That's why you moved to Japan.
It was not very nice. It was no good.
Well, so that's why the big pool was filled with pee, according to Haru Nakajima.
Oh, Andres.
Take that, Atragon.
Let's see. Next up, number 8. Favorite Godzilla theme. Ooh.
Theme, as in motif or art music, likewise.
I'm gonna assume it's like main musical theme, and I'm probably gonna go with like, in general, probably any theme Ifukube did during the 90s.
Yeah,
kind of blend together for me.
Yeah, I adore Ikafube's Godzilla theme, but I also say that again. Ifukube's Godzilla theme, but I also love the Godzilla theme done for Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, done by the female composer whose name I'm not going to say.
The one
and who can automatically relate to Mothra because she's a woman.
Right.
Damn you, G-Fest and your weirdos. Anyways, and I really like the theme song they created for Godzilla and Final Wars. That just, well, every time I hear that, it just gets, the blood pumping.
It's the one that goes like bam 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 bam.
Yeah,
bam,
exactly.
Bam,
Bum, 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 bum. It's like when you hear that music, you know what someone's gonna get their ass kicked.
I did like the one at the very end, like da 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 bam bam.
It's
like the closest to. I know it's the same composer who did Iron Man the animated series, and that one feels the most Iron Man-y.
Yeah. Well, in terms of Godzilla themes, other than Ifukube, of course, I have to go with Koyatani's score from GMK. That theme, din, 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 din,
oh, yeah.
din. The minute you hear that, you know hell's about to break
Now I want to
loose.
watch that movie after we're done.
I'm gonna watch. I watch it every single day, Andres. So there's no problem with me.
Right.
Yeah. Pretty much all the ones that are, everybody kind of agrees is awesome. I do like, I don't know, it's not really his theme, but I just love the visual and like the whole scene because it would just work so well with it. In Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, the greatest Godzilla film of all time, when he comes up, it's like his ass kicking theme when he comes up like slowly over the rocks and it's bana.
Oh yeah.
Bum, 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 It's so great.
Yeah, I also got to give a shout out to BioWare's theme. I just wish it was. I wish it was used in an actual Godzilla fight, but it's so great. I love it's like the most 80s as fuck rendition you can make of the Godzilla theme.
Yeah, and apparently it was and apparently it was so embarrassing for Ifukube that he had to come back to the series.
Like,
nobody
what the fuck
does
is this bullshit?
If anyone's doing hair metal, it's me. Oh, I'm bald. Oh well, I'll compensate.
I'm so angry. I'm speaking in the English.
Me don't like it.
No, I'm so sorry.
Me no likey.
To bring back an old back an old Sons of Sarazawa podcast joke. Damn it, Murray! Why didn't you tell me this crap? I need to make a score now.
Let's see. Next question. I know you recently watched Neon Genesis Evangelion, but what do your friends in Japan think of it after watching the series? They highly enjoy it. They find it very intriguing, and they make a lot of connections between what Shinji Ikari goes through in the series and what a lot of Japanese people go through on a daily basis in terms of having like a lot of social pressures on them and making them feel like they have the most important job, and if they don't do their job and their role, don't comply to their role in society, then they will be deemed a failure and useless. Basically, it kind of like their perspective on Evangelion makes me realize just exactly why the series is so popular in Japan alone, because it's a super relatable series for Japanese audiences.
Get in the damn robot, Japan.
Or in this case, get a fucking job. Or no, not get a job. Get in the fucking desk job. Get in the fucking office.
Wow, now Evangelion is even 10 times more depressing.
Yeah, Shinji is getting forced to work in a giant robot. Japanese people are getting forced to work in a boring desk job, working 9 to 5
right.
for God knows how many years until they eventually retire at 65, only to realize that they wasted their entire lives and they're left with little to do afterwards.
Ironically, both jobs still involve super powerful angel creatures from another dimension invading the Earth.
Anyways, next question. Thoughts on Philaday, 1994 German adult noir animated film about cats. I've heard about it. I've seen a couple reviews about it. Never got around to seeing it, but it looks interesting.
Raph, you wrote that movie, right, Raph?
No, hell no. I would have been a lot more friendlier and happier, and there would have been robots in it.
Let's see. Number 11. When does analyzing a film go too far? To the point where when you are overanalyzing a movie.
Well, if you wanted to see what that looks like, check over to AM Productions Evangelion retrospective.
I think the overanalyzing can be when you are like, there is a type of overanalyzing where it's like you go in solely with a very critical, to the point of like very cynical outlook on film, to the point where it's like you're looking for stuff to complain about, and when you're looking for stuff to complain about, you tend to ignore the good parts of a movie, and you focus so badly on it, you end up finding bad stuff where there may not even be bad stuff in there. This is exactly the reason why I dislike CinemaSins so much, because they claim to look into a movie, to criticizing a movie for the sake of, it's just a satire. We're just making fun of overly nitpicky people. Yeah. But they're not nitpicking. They're literally making errors in it. Yeah. It's like, there's someone made a really good point where CinemaSins took a look at, like, I think it was like Hotel Transylvania 2 or 3, where a character says, "You're the nicest boy I know," and CinemaSins goes, "You're the only boy she knows." Obviously, that's supposed to be like a joke. But then if you look at the movie, she says, you're the nicest boy I know, and I have 100 brothers." So it's like, that's clearly a factual, that like joke does not work at all, because you're taking a line out of context and recontextualizing the whole thing. And it's like, again, you can pull the it's just a prank, bro, excuse, but if you look at the person's other YouTube channel where he gives his real thoughts on the movie, they're exactly the same as how he presents his thoughts in the CinemaSins videos. So no, it's not an exaggeration. Those are exactly what he thinks of the movies.
Tonight, Professor Andres uses Adam Sandler-based animated math to justify existence.
Hey. Gendy Tartakovsky animated film.
Gendy Tartakovsky related math to just, like, seriously, I've never heard anybody use Hotel Transylvania 2 as a scientific instrument to battle something wrong.
It's like, there's a really good deconstruction video out there. There's probably a couple deconstruction videos on CinemaSins, and that was the one thing I could remember because it was the easiest to remember.
I know there's a counter channel out there called Cinema Wins, which I really, because they're one of the very rare breed of YouTube critics who like only does positive commentary,
right?
Which I really like. I like their stuff. Their stuff is a lot more factual and just doesn't scream pretentious dickhead sitting in his mom's basement.
140 things wrong with Mystery Science Theater Round 2, Gamera versus Virus. This kid needs to eat a sandwich. Bing! This guy is clearly wearing blankets. Bing! These puppets aren't real robots.
Here's a trope that gets repeated a lot. Bing!
Bing! Not Mike Nelson. 5 points deducted.
Not Joel Hodgson. 5 points deducted. Bing!
Bing!
Imagine our total sin tally at the end. Oh my god.
40 billion.
Yeah, sentence dinner with the Crimson Weirdo.
Yeah. Who wants tuna sandwiches from hell?
But yeah, I think like the overanalyzing a movie, I guess there are different kinds of overanalyzing methods, but I just don't like the overtly cynical style of overanalyzing a movie, because it's like when you go in solely to search for stuff to hate, you end up skipping over the aspects of a movie that are worth praising, and that I feel is a really darn shame.
Yeah. One of the ones that I hate is the ones where people try to overanalyze a message of a film when they don't realize what the true message of the movie actually is, when it's a lot simpler than what they try to think it is. And I've seen this a lot too with a lot of films from the 90s all the way to the modern day, where a lot of people try to think that a lot of these films are deep, complex type of stories, when really in the end, like, even the creators admit themselves that, yeah, these are just for us having fun with the film. And going back to it again, Evangelion, if you ever read any of Hideaki Anno's reviews, he says, like, a lot of this stuff, like, that I put in there, like, they don't really mean anything. They're just there for either cool visuals, or it's just me, like, paying homage to stuff that I loved as a child. Mm-hmm. The perfect example would be the crosses in Evangelion. People think that that's a religious thing, but no, he just did it because it was a cool effect. And it is starting to spread a lot more about how people overanalyze with that type of stuff. I mean, sometimes it's good when you want to use a hypothetical type of deal. Like, I actually did that once back when I used to own a YouTube channel. I did a review of Godzilla once, the original, and one of the things that I compared was the scene. Do you guys remember that scene in the conference room where they're discussing whether or not they should tell people around the world about Godzilla?
Yeah.
Well, I remember in the video, I compared it because it reminded me a lot of, this kind of reminds me of what happens, when the Americans were making a decision whether or not to drop the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I mean, I myself know this isn't what Honda probably intended, but it's a neat thing to think about a little bit, that it does bring up that comparison in mind. So when you're bringing up that type of analyzation, you got to realize that it's probably not the intention of the director or whoever else is working on it, but it is good to sometimes theorize, and think about all those other things that can remind you of. But don't go too far and say that that's factually it.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah. On that note, there's a lot of American critics who keep bringing their own baggage into movie reviews, and I noticed that a lot with Shin Godzilla. Like, if an American critic is untrustworthy of foreign countries, they ignore all the positive aspects, because a lot of people forget the Americans, despite not being there on screen, were backing up the Japanese in the final assault with the drone army and all that. So.
Oh yeah, and they got help from, what was it, the German or French?
They got help from the Germans and the French.
Oh yeah,
so.
Yeah. So it's like
it really is science fiction. Help from the French.
Brayden.
Are you trying to start an international incident here, Brayden?
Yeah.
Oh no. What are the French gonna do? Get their snail army after me, Andres? Go get him, escargot. I'm not afraid.
Fire the missiles.
Don't underestimate.
What are is a fleet of mimes gonna paratroop onto my yard?
Mimes almost killed Syndrome.
It's gonna be the scene from Tim Burton's Batman where a bunch of mimes are coming in with Tommy guns.
Oh no. It's your Uncle Bingo.
And me and Brayton are hiding behind the mayor's podium. It's like, I told you this was going to happen, but why didn't you believe
me? Who brings produce to a rally?
Hey, you snail, stop eating my garden.
Let's see. And I guess if no
seriously, Brayton, thank you for making me feel better about the human condition, you bastards.
That's what I aim to do every day of my life.
Right.
Let's see. Last question that this person had, Primal Graphenosaurus Rex had. Why is it that kaiju are not popular anymore in Japan? People's tastes change, and
yeah.
Really, it's like, for kids, kaiju is still popular, especially with Ultraman toys. With
to
Sentai
a lesser
and,
extent, Super Sentai.
yeah,
Sorry.
with Super Sentai and Kamen Rider, it's mostly the heroes and the robots that are popular. But once you become an adult, it's like you kind of are forced to, drop that shit, and eventually your tastes change, and pretty much it's like anime is like the thing everyone's into now, and also cute shit, and kaiju ain't, for the most part, ain't really cute shit.
And not only that, but I would compare kaiju to like the Western film genre. Back in like the 50s.
Yeah. We still have westerns here and there, like from like Tarantino, but it's not a mainstream thing.
Yeah, like there was a time where there was like literally at least 4 westerns released in theaters every month, if not more, and not counting television shows. But now today, it's like we still have a backlog of a massive number of westerns to still choose from as far as a library goes. But as far as new ones getting made, you might be lucky to see 1 or 2. And same thing about the kaiju genre, although to be honest, thankfully it seems kaiju are slowly starting to make a way back, although more on the American side than the Japanese side.
Because with the Japanese side, it's like I have students who are from like the age range of like 5 to like 40. Maybe I have some people, some students who are in their 50s even. And it's like the majority of them haven't grown up with a single Godzilla film in their lives. A few of them watching Shin Godzilla. For a few of them, Shin Godzilla is like their first real Godzilla experience.
Yeah. And not to be mean to the Japanese, but didn't you say that they're very fickle about fads over there?
What do you mean?
Like, oh god, it's like they got onto the Shin Godzilla
bandwagon?
Bandwagon, but they really didn't give a crap about anything Godzilla related that came after that.
True, because they were in it mostly for like the politics stuff.
Yeah.
They could give less of a damn about like the monster stuff. It's like, oh wow, it's like Hideaki Anno. I know him. I've heard of Evangelion before. I would say Evangelion is more popular than Godzilla in Japan right now by a huge margin. Yeah,
and not only that, but I hate to say it, that's kind of the effect with monster movies in general. Like, if you're not on board with the monsters, general audiences could care less about the story. That's why I think that's why a lot of monster movies struggle to have any kind of respect from the general audiences, because they're either more interested in like the non-monsters.
Human drama. They like human drama. J-dramas are a huge thing in Japan. Probably more I can think of a million things that are more popular than Godzilla in Japan. J-dramas, J-pop.
Would that explain the popular Kamen Rider? Because at this point, like the monsters and the villains don't matter at all.
Right. It's all about the handsome, suave, hunky-looking J-pop idol-looking main star actor who would then
fighting
go on,
amongst each other. Yeah.
Who would my students have even told me that the majority of Kamen Rider actors would go on to have like bigger acting careers.
Ugh. Oh well. So, in other words, the world of Godzilla film franchise is bound to fail.
It's like, why isn't kaiju popular? Because there's a bunch of other stuff the Japanese are into now.
Yeah.
Let's see. Now moving on to Konga. Let's see whether or not this is the same gorilla of the film with the same name.
Put me down, you fool!
Do you like XCOM? If so, what do you think of it? I don't know what XCOM is. I think that's a video game. I assume none of you also know what XCOM is.
It's actually the Tron version of the X-Men movies, and I hate it even more.
Hey, screw you. XCOM's amazing.
It isn't.
Do you like the new designs for Mothra, King Ghidorah, and Rodan? Yes! Always.
Yeah. I like them, but I'm a little apprehensive with Mothra. They're basically turned her with, like, 4 giant mantis claws or something.
Yeah, I gotta.
No, it's just she comes off a little less like an elegant goddess of insected stuff, and she comes off more like a slightly different variation on the Mutos that came before her.
And
so, yeah, no, it's just if you're like, there are a lot of ways they could redesign Mothra, but I think they may have gone overboard trying to make her too badass with like the 4 mantis siskles. Damn it, what is it?
Sickles.
Sickles, thank you.
Sicko.
That's right, Mothra comes with a mini army of Gene Sickles. I don't like this movie. I don't like this movie. I don't like this movie. Run, Godzilla!
Thumbs down, thumbs down.
Let's try to spoil this movie and then get our fans to send hate mail to these people.
Right, and then let's blame Roger Ebert for all his sins.
Wow.
Hashtag Roger Ebert did nothing wrong.
Yeah. try telling it to
hashtag Mayor Ebert did nothing wrong. I don't want to eat candy.
Back off, Gene.
The mayor who destroyed Godzilla. It'll be a magnificent experience.
Right.
Let's see. Anyone else?
Yeah,
I like the Mothra Sickles. I like it. She's not a very combat ready character as before.
Right.
So I kind of like it.
Yeah,
I like the new look.
My thoughts are the same. It's like for a character that lives in isolation, sure, she doesn't need to have all those like weapons and be all battle ready. But for apparently this is a Mothra that grew up millions of years ago, or whose species grew up in a hostile environment with a bunch of shit ton of monsters running around. It makes sense for her to be adapted into a more battle ready character.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I guess I'm kind of in the middle of when it comes to the Mothra design, because on one hand, yes, I do agree that it would make sense for Mothra to have this more battle-ready type of features, but I do think in terms of aesthetically, likewise, I feel like the execution felt a little off-putting, and I do kind of agree with Raph that it does feel a little Muto-esque for my taste, at least. I'm fine with them making Mothra more battle ready. That's fine. I'm all for that, but I feel like the way that they went about it just didn't feel as natural as I think they were trying to go for.
Yeah.
Ronan, however, does look amazing, and so does King Ghidorah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do you think they want to like? I love the way
Also,
King Ghidorah looks great.
I gotta say, this isn't the first time that anyone has made. If anyone claims that, oh, they're making Mothra look more badass because that's such an American thing to do, remember that Japan, Toho is also guilty of trying to make Mothra more badass as well. If you remember both Armored Mothra from Mothra 3 and GMK Mothra.
Yeah, but those were a good mix between what we know Mothra is, and also I think those were more successful attempts at making Mothra look badass, especially GMK, where you could believe she was a giant insect, as opposed to like this gigantic plush doll on strings.
Yeah.
Although Armor Mothra, we know she doesn't count in the Godzilla continuity because, according to Go Nagai, she's too powerful.
And that's why you never see her appear in any crossover games.
Absolutely. So Super Robot Kaiju Wars, Tayson, Q, the T, DDD. That was a great game.
Yeah. Although technically Rainbow Mothra is a dude, Armor Mothra is a dude, but I digress.
Oh yeah, that's
but anyway,
right.
Rodan and Ghidorah look cool though.
Yes, we can all
agree. Let's spread the love around them. Yes.
Let's see. Next question: thoughts on the New Zealand horror comedy film Black Sheep? I've heard of
that
it.
Movie.
I haven't seen it.
I love it.
Is that the movie where a guy
really
gets his
fun.
dick bitten off by like a mutant sheep?
Yes.
Okay.
It's hilarious.
You need to narrow it down. There's a lot of horror movies where that happens.
I've seen plenty of movies like that. You need to narrow it down.
Yeah, exactly. What Braden said.
I'll put it to you this way. If any of you out there enjoy a lot of early Peter Jackson works like Bad Taste, Meet the Feebles, and Dead Alive, you'll definitely enjoy this movie. It's got that type of vibe. All I'll say is this. Just watch the scene in the movie where the sheep come down on a hillside and tell me, with combining the music, the pacing, just the mood of it, tell me you aren't going to laugh just at them coming down the hill alone.
Okay. Next up, are you excited for Avengers Endgame? Yes!
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, I'm just like...
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. No, I was gonna say yeah, I'm excited for Endgame, but at the same time, it's like I'm gonna be a little disappointed if they just clean up everything too neatly, like the way comic books often do. It's like, oh, we killed off a character 3 issues later, he's alive or she's alive, but what is it? I will say this. I want to apologize about the last time we reviewed Infinity Wars because I made fun of the audience, but I should apologize. There was one guy who was very white and hillbilly who was visibly upset about Black Panther being killed. And it like he was like in the lobby and his girlfriend was consoling him. It's like, they can't do that to Black Panther. They can't do that to Black Panther. So I deeply apologize to that poor guy. It's nice to see that it doesn't matter who the superhero is or what background he came from. If you love the character that much, more power to you, because good characters always deserve fans. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I don't know. I'm a little not that excited because I think I'm more excited for this Shazam movie than I am of Endgame, but I'm still going to see Endgame regardless.
Anyone else?
And Shoma rains on the parade.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not interested. Like after Infinity War, I've kind of like dropped out of the MCU.
I'll probably drop out after Endgame.
Yeah. Oh, clearly you guys are.
Wait, there's gonna be more after Endgame. There's gonna be more of this.
The
purpose of Endgame was for it to be an Endgame.
There's already gonna be Spider-Man Far From Home afterwards.
Oh,
yeah, and they're doing Guardians of the Galaxy 3 with James Gunn. That was all a giant lie. And they're thinking of doing a movie based on the obscure characters called the Eternals, of whom Thanos' home race was.
But they're gonna focus a whole movie on aliens.
Aliens.
Well, Peter Quill kind of counts as an alien because he got raised. His daddy was
like they're gonna focus pirate. On a bunch of non-human looking aliens.
Right. Yeah, right. Like the most enduring characters in the MCU are all non-human wackaloons. So,
I did hear a rumor that they might take a break for like 2 or 3 years, which I hope to God they will. No. From what I understand, they're taking at least a year off. But unfortunately, I just remembered we don't know what their real movie plans are. But when Disney starts its own streaming service, oh God save us all. They're going to do some real Marvel television shows that are truly directly connected to the movies, unlike that Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. or Netflix crap. Is Cloak and Dagger connected, supposedly?
It is, but it's not. But it's far from Kevin Feige's doing, and it's under the command of other producers. Hence the incredible failure we had with the Inhumans. Yeah. Made that show set itself on fire and jump off multiple cliffs. That was a horrible show. Don't see it. I don't care. Like I'll take a million X-Men movies over Inhumans. Anyways. But no, apparently the Marvel shows from Netflix are going to have Peter Feige or Kevin. Is it Kevin Feige? Kevin Feige.
Kevin Feige.
Yeah, as the lead producer, and they will be directly connected to the MCU more so than these other shows that are only lightly connected. So yeah, it's not going to end Brayton. That's what that whole thing was about.
It is the show that
Do they think Hollywood's just going to close down if they don't come out with a fucking Ant-Man movie every 5 months?
But you've seen on the internet recently, they love Ant-Man.
Yeah, and according to Golden the Guy, Ant-Man is the most powerful character. That's why he's not showing up in Endgame.
You know what's funny, though? I had that thought watching Infinity War before this Ant-Man meme crap came about. So I get behind that meme.
Right.
And I mean behind.
Oh, well, Paul Rudd is man crush worthy.
Oh God.
Next up, let's see. Thoughts on The Fly and The Fly 2. I've seen The Fly, really like it. I've never seen The Fly 2, but I've seen reviews of it. Looks interesting, but I don't know.
I have not seen The Fly 2 in ages. I like the first Fly with both Jeff Goldblum, and I also like the original Fly from the 60s. That
best comeuppance for a villain ever for The Fly 2.
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I only seen The Fly 2 once, but I remember that movie has such a wonderfully mean-spirited way it takes out all its multiple villains. And yeah, you're right. That movie does end with one of the all-time great villain defeats ever. So,
Yes. I love the original The Fly. It's a true it's a definitive sci-fi classic, as well as the original Fly. That's the classic as well. And The Fly 2 I actually consider to be an underrated sequel that deserves a lot more credit than what it's given. Mainly because I like the story of not Brody, but Jeff Goldblum's son and like in the series. I like the idea about him rapidly progressing in age, where he has the mind of a child but in the body of an adult man, and he's has to process things quickly, and it kind of brings up the idea of that the fact that all of us are basically in that similar position where we're all growing up as fast as possible, and sometimes it can be hard for us to process everything. And in the case of this character, it's even worse than that. So, like, I do like some of the ideas they bring to the table, and some of the effects are deliciously gory and nice and fun and such. So, I would recommend The Fly 2. Honestly, it's a sequel that I think deserves a lot more credit. Just don't expect the first movie.
yeah.
Okay. And let's see. Next question is favorite Batman film. For me, it's Batman '89.
After seeing it recently, I'm gonna go with Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah, Mask of the Phantasm, I agree, but I also have a big. I'm a big fan of the Christopher Nolan movies, even with all their shortcomings.
Oh, my head exploded. It's everywhere. My brain is everywhere now.
There's brains everywhere.
You've done to me. Would you? How dare you like something I don't like? You fool.
Isn't that
You
the
deserve
internet in
it.
general?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! I totally that's why I said shortcomings, because I totally agree with a lot of the stuff that Brayton brings up about those movies. So, although, would it make you happy if I also give a shout out to like the 1966 Batman movie?
Oh, that's a wonderful movie.
Yeah.
I love the '89 Batman movie, but I don't think it's a great Batman movie. I think it's a great Joker movie with Batman in it.
Right.
With like, Mask of the Phantasm is probably my favorite. A lot of the early animated movies before Bruce Timm started taking his crazy pills. And,
You mean he wasn't taking his crazy pills before?
I don't know. Well, what do crazy pills make you not be crazy, or do they intensify the crazy? I don't know. It could be either or. But whatever he's doing now, he needs to stop. He needs to get back
to stop
and write an actual story where Harley Quinn is date raping Robin. I'd love to see that. Or Batman and what is his deal? Batman and Batgirl on a roof? What is wrong with you? You sick man.
Yeah, even even a sick, twisted, fan service loving mind like myself thought that was going overboard.
Yeah, while the gargoyles watch over them, that was a very artistic shot.
Yeah, it was weird. They were able to get Keith David to return to reprise his role as Goliath.
That's
watching.
wrong, man. What are you doing?
Can I join in?
Slaughter.
Join the Navy.
That's right, he did do those commercials.
Yeah.
Let's see. Next up, thoughts on Sonic. I like him.
He's all right. He's a good guy. Come over for hamburgers every now and then. Have cookout with the kids.
Chili dogs, Brayton.
He always goes really fast though. He's too fast for me. Is what I'm saying.
But he's got to go fast.
He's got to go
Yes,
fast.
he's just got to go fast.
It's the only
Right.
way he can escape the pain.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
would like Sonic's. What is it? Sonic's shoes aren't blue or whatever. What was that thing that Christian?
his blue arms.
His blue arms. Like, they're not blue, they're flesh colored.
blue. Sprays a GameStop employee.
With pepper
Yeah.
spray.
Yeah.
Take that, you!
Don't
Andrews.
hurt anyone.
Then, as he leaves the store away from the scene of the crime, gotta go fast.
You gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast.
Must go faster. Must go faster.
Woo, 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 woo. Gotta go faster. Ah!
Yeah, you're a big fan of Sonic, though, aren't you, Andrew?
Yeah. I guess the elephant in the room has been exposed, but yeah, I'm pretty much the Sonic fan here. Although, admittedly, I've kind of gone down. Like I've become like less interested in the franchise as of late because of.
You were pretty much right now. You are me in 2008.
Yeah, I think that's a very good comparison because I'm basically in a position where, honestly, I'm now focusing a lot more on superheroes and such than I really am the video Sonic and such. I mean, of course, I still play some of the games here and there. In fact, I recently got my hands on the Sonic Rush duology on the DS,
nice.
and I can't wait to play those when I get a fucking DS. But despite that point, but no, I still look back on Sonic very fondly, and it's. At one point it was my favorite video game franchise, and hopefully maybe one day Sega will get their shit together. But, funny enough, too, I mean, it's going to be hard to since apparently Sega Sonic Team of Japan closed down its stores early this year. So
and now the Sonic fans are making better games than Sega themselves with Sonic Mania.
Yeah, like, I'll just say this right now. I'm in the firm belief that at this point, I think it's better if Sega of Japan just gives all the rights to Sonic to America because...
I mean, at this point, Sonic was kind of built from the ground up to be more appealing to Westerners than Japanese people. Heck, in Japan, I barely see any Sonic at all. Even within the Sega arcades, I see like a couple signs with Sonic's face on them, and that's it.
Yeah, that's because Sega, like, in Japan cares about either Miku Miku or pachinko machines.
You mean,
so, like,
you mean Hatsune Miku?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Hatsume Miku.
Again, Japan loves cute shit.
Yeah, exactly. And it's it's not, like Sonic is not at all a big thing there. Well,
Hear that, Brayton? You need to move to Japan and make the big bucks.
Oh.
What are you saying that I'm cute shit, Raph?
Okay, fine.
You're
you're hideous and ugly, and nobody likes you. There, you feel better?
That makes me feel a little better.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Next question.
Let's see. Well, I was about to end off with one thing though. I will say this though: if it wasn't for Sonic, mainly Adventure 2, I probably wouldn't try to be an aspiring writer.
Cool.
So I definitely got to give the series that credit. It helped mold me into the person I am today.
And I will say that I was the generation that grew up starting with Sonic Adventure 2 Battle on the GameCube, and eventually played Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut. I played Sonic Hero, Sonic Mega Collection, Gems Collection.
You grew up with the Dreamcast era, like I did.
No. I grew up with the GameCube era, which...
Well, I know, it still kind of counts in that era.
Yeah.
I've only played 2 Sonic games. I played one on the GameCube, which I don't remember the name of it, but it had like a water boss.
That's Adventure. That's Adventure
Sonic
1.
Adventure 1.
I played that, and then I played Sonic 06. So I can't say.
May Neptune have mercy on your soul.
I'm not a video game guy, but even I feel sorry for you.
I never got past the killer whale. That was always
that was always a pain.
Oh yeah, that level. Just tell yourself this. At least you weren't me playing Lost World or Boom. Just repeat to yourself that it wasn't as bad as that.
There you go.
There you go.
Peanut butter jelly.
Next is
right.
Did you enjoy Smash Brothers Ultimate? Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's very fun.
Love it. Okay, and I think we had like a couple more questions. One person, Jordan, said, "Is it wrong that I completely fanboyed at the finale of SSSS.Gridman despite not watching a single episode of the original 90s anime, original 90s series until just recently? It's not wrong. I felt the same way too."
Oh my god, that's just like my brother Miguel. He saw the opening of Gokaiger with the massive Power Ranger reunion, and he was like, "Oh, this is okay, but I don't give a shit about Power Rangers." And I went like, "Okay, so tell you when the Green Ranger from Jew Ranger returns?" Oh yeah, absolutely.
Next up is there any obscure Tokusatsu series you randomly came across, and after watching it, you said to yourself, "What the fuck?" Probably Mitsurugi.
In a good way or a bad way?
I guess anyway.
I guess
that's what she said.
For for Bill and Dylan, that series would be Ambassador Magma, or what was it called? The Space Giant. Was it called the Space Giants?
Yes, it was called the Space Giants in America, but in Japan it's better known as Ambassador Magma.
Yeah, that series for Bill and Dylan.
I guess Machine Man. I didn't know it existed, and then I watched it. It's like, wow, I didn't know Ishimori created this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would put everything that Raph has shown me under that category. A bunch of
Damn
bizarre
right.
Including
crap.
Space Warriors 2000.
I like that though. That's the thing.
Yeah,
That
but
seems
you
like
won't-
that's like if I made an Ultraman movie. It would be that.
Hear that, ladies and gentlemen?
I would
Keep 'em away from
procrastinate.
Super
I would
Production.
procrastinate. I would procrastinate down to the last minute, and they're like, "Hey, you got that movie done? You got that movie done?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And then 24 hours before it had to be released, I'm like, "Oh shit, I got to make an Ultraman movie." And then I just like cobble together a bunch of random scenes and do goofy voices. I love it. It's great. Everyone should watch it.
Can we do like a mockumentary about you creating the creation of Space Warriors 2000, starring you?
Sure, where I play the director and I explain the history of the film and me doing all the voices like at 5 o'clock in the morning. I can.
Yeah, and we got the Dirty McCruption versus Mr. Bad short film coming up.
Oh God! Don't speak of this.
It's your idea.
And we are done with all the questions that were given to us in November. We couldn't get to any of the questions from December, but we'll do that next time. So we got a little donation from Bermakian Productions when he donated
thank
$2.
you.
He said, "Am I late?" Unfortunately, you were, Bermakian, since we were just wrapping up the questions from from 2 episodes ago. And
he gave you money. If he has a question, answer it now. You can afford that.
Technically, I am answering his question when he said, "Am I late?"
No, I don't want to put guilt on you, Andre.
And a big, also a nice shout out earlier to Sean Berry, who also donated $5. Thank you very much for the super chat. And while we were talking, let's see, Bermakian also mentioned 89 film and Dark Knight. And he said he was in the process of playing Sonic 2 on his phone. I'm not sure how you can. I know like Sonic series, it relies on like quick reflexes. I'm not sure how that translates to a cell phone, to like a smartphone.
I tried that once. It does not translate well.
Apparently, I heard they're good, and that fans have been wanting them to get ported over to the consoles.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like that with the iPhone versions, they're probably better off on the on like the consoles than they are on the phones, because it's kind of a pain in the ass to control on the phone.
Like apparently,
but I feel like
go ahead.
Yeah, like this. Yeah, the people who worked on it. This is like before like they went on to work on Mania. Simon Tomley and Christian Whitehead. But you could kind of tell this is like during their early times when they were still getting things. They were still testing the grounds. It's still good. It was still a good experience. Like I could tell level design. It was an improvement, but especially on the case of Sonic 1. But yeah, it's definitely a case where I feel like it would be better on a console than on a phone.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. So we are finished right now, so we'll be wrapping things up. So does anyone have anything they'd like to promote besides the Mystery Science Theater 3000 MST3K versus Gamera Round 2 that we promoted at the beginning of the episode?
I'll go first because it's less awkward that way. Definitely come and visit my DeviantArt page, because I'll be posting a lot of photos and images related to the Mystery Science Theater episode. And I have big plans coming up for June, which will be Kai June. So there's a lot of giant monster artwork coming that way. And also check out my friend Brendan Tenald's review series. If you kind of enjoy some of the humorous stuff, especially Mystery Science Theater, he too is sort of a child of that mystery of the Satellite of Love. So his reviews are definitely very hilarious. And also he reviewed The Dark, so you'll understand what the hell that movie reference was all about. And also check out my own YouTube channel, because I'll be posting up some various items loosely connected to the Mystery Science Theater, my own stuff there. And my YouTube channel is, of course, just Inshoma. So just put my name in there. Boom, there I am.
Okay. I guess like the only two things I could tip out from my end is make sure to like and follow the Facebook page Art of Maroc, which is my own personal art page. Hopefully, hope that sooner or later I can take commissions for future artwork. And I'm trying to get back into the groove of continuing with art since I went into a lot of technical issues a couple months ago. But things are starting to get back in the pace, and hopefully I'll start opening them up maybe by maybe around like mid-late spring. And also be on the lookout for any of you people who are coming to G-Fest, because G-Fest 26 at a Ballroom 1, 10 a.m. on the 13th, I will be hosting a panel on the Tokusatsu superhero Mirror Man, which was the first superhero created by Tsuburaya that was not Ultraman. Be going into its humble beginnings all the way up to its how it impacted other Tokusatsu franchises in the future, and hopefully for a lot of you it will be a learning experience.
I will so be there if I'm there.
Hey,
And Brayton?
you'll be there. Yes, I will also be at G-Fest. I will not be having a panel, but I will be there for photo opportunities and to massage my ego. That would be nice.
Are you gonna go cosplay as Helmut Caruso?
Oh yeah, I think I could pull that cosplay off. Yeah, I got the one for it. No, I'll cosplay. I'll be the Crimson Weirdo. Raph, you be Helmut Caruso.
That'll be a tight fit, and you'll be like lost in the robes. But I think it will work.
Yeah, it'll be. Yeah, we won't get like custom costumes. It'll just be our.
He's become more robe than man now.
It's like Rachel will be like wearing his dad's pajamas. It's like, I'm a ghost. Ooh.
No, but yeah, just the fan episode for me. I don't know what else am I doing. Oh, but Raph and I might do a Gamera versus Vera specific related podcast soon. Talking Turtle. That's the code name for it.
Oh yeah, there's
I've
also a particular project that you might be working on for my channel that we've had in the works for some time.
Yes, a top monster video.
Yeah.
That the audio's all done. I'm doing a weird way of editing videos now. I did it with the project.
You're doing it with your feet.
You're using a computer this time. A desktop.
I know it's totally weird. No, I'm using both my computer and my phone working together.
Oh.
I edit all of the audio through Audacity, a free program, on the computer, and then I bring the audio from the computer onto my phone, and then I just edit the clips to the audio and sync it up. It works nice.
What is this weird? What is this weird thinking
It's
process?
the future.
It's
It's the
witchcraft.
future, Ant.
It's
Burn it
witchcraft.
and push it off a cliff.
Witchcraft.
In witchcraft.
He's
no, yeah.
singing. No witchcraft.
But no, yeah. I will be doing a top. Do you want to reveal what it is, Andres, or do you want to keep it a secret? Or it's
I
been
guess
so long.
I'll review it. I'll reveal it. Not
Review it.
Yeah.
I for a while been planning this elaborate video as a follow-up to my top 15 favorite giant robots in fiction. And after so many people have requested, I'm going to do a top 15 favorite giant monsters in fiction with the help of my dear friend Brayden Connor and with art provided by the amazingly and talented individual Steve Tao, aka Raptor Gear, aka Winter Gaia on DeviantArt.
Yeah, really awesome artwork.
Oh yeah, totally. He was
Agreed.
able to make artwork depictions of every monster in the list. And we, hopefully I'll get to show off my favorite monsters, let you know, give you guys a sense of what my taste in monsters are like, I guess. And hopefully you'll enjoy me gushing about my favorite monsters and giving a little info on these characters. Some you may know, some you may not know. And yeah, hopefully it'll be fun.
Yeah, Grandizer will not be on the list because he's too powerful.
Of course, yes.
Right.
Yes.
And
always.
Godzilla. That's the thing. No Godzilla on this list because I want to keep it interesting. I don't want to be predictable. Of course, he's my number one favorite monster, of course, but it's like excluding him, who else do I like?
Yeah.
Let's see. And another thing I like to promote, if that's okay with you guys, if you're done, Brayton.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. In that I was recently
I'm done.
I was recently invited to be on a panel myself for this year's G-Fest. So on Sunday in Ballroom 2 at 3 p.m. This is like one of the last panels of the convention. I will be part of the Godzilla YouTubers panel, hosted by Titan Goji, of all people, where it'll be him, me, D-Man, D-Man 1954, the guys over at Monstrosities, Tokusatsu Vlogs, and a few other people, or maybe like one other individual YouTuber. We're all going to be just answering questions about what it's like making Godzilla-related or kaiju-related content on YouTube, and we'll answer questions from the audience as well. So yeah, hopefully you'll like that, and hopefully I'm also currently working on my comic book, as I usually mentioned before, and I will hopefully, if all goes well, I'll be selling my comic in the Artist Alley, which is located in like the basement floor of the hotel, where you'll find me at Denny Roth's table, where he will be selling his art and his comic, Martial Star, and I'll be selling my comic, Draco Azul. So
who needs baby Bigfoot when you got adult artist Bigfoot?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully you guys will enjoy that, and yeah, thank you very much everybody for sticking with us for over 2 hours. I think it's been like 3 hours now. Oh dear God.
It's been 3 hours.
Okay, yeah. So we're definitely
better than 6 hours on my channel. So.
we're definitely been way overdue. So thank you very much, everybody, tremendously for sticking with us these last 3 hours. Hopefully you've had as much fun as we've had as well. And please check out the MST3K fan episode that we did over on Braden's channel. I left the link in the description below. So please, watch it, leave feedback, let us know what you think about it, where we can improve, what you liked, what you disliked, and overall, have a wonderful time. So until next time, I have been Andres Perez, aka Kaiju Noir.
I am the one and only Raph and Shoma.
I'm going last, Andrew. You go.
All right, fine. I am Andrew.
And I'm Brayton.
And until next time, everybody, take care. Hit the button, Frank.
Okay, my liege.